GG, Zandadas, Hyenas, Scoop Down, who learned from Scoop Steve was criminating, y'all. I rock with the King X. Don't forget the Kennedys doing his minimum match right here on YouTube. Dandada, we conducting ourselves in the most highest. Dandada likes what you make it. You can't love it, you can't hate it. It's gonna be simply what you make it. When the elevator, who's elevator? God's elevator. Dandada on our way up to the top, GG. That's just what it is. Dandada, we gotta stay more aware and more active than ever. Done. You heard? Alright, GGs. We've been on the big Meech. God chose you because he knew he could trust you. You guys best kept secret. Stay more aware than ever. But we've been on the big Meech segment for a little while. We've been on the big Meech session for a little while. And a lot of people they've been coming out saying that it's forced. The dude Sean G. He happened to come out and have somebody on the phone. And he was saying that it's false what niggas was saying. He even, you know what I'm saying, he tried to fucking rebunk or say that he didn't even understand what he was saying. That what Big Meech ain't no snitch. This is that, and it's good that he was saying that. But then he got someone on the phone that actually said that, oh yeah, I was there. I got locked up with Southwest T. You know what I'm saying? I got locked up with Southwest T. I was with Southwest T when I got locked up. This, that, and third. So he's saying that that Cuffy that he's Cuffy's nephew. And that's why Southwest T ain't actually fucking with Big Meech. You don't see Southwest T mentioning Big Meech name. You don't see Southwest T over here. You know what I'm saying? Mention other people that you don't. You just don't see that. I don't know why you don't see it, but you don't.
There was one guy in LA who in 2 months sold more product than BMF did in 13 years.
What the? That's it. Claims. There's a guy in LA that in 2 months sold what Big Meech showed their entire career. So Big Meech is the
prisoners. Like, and I've obtained easily well over 100 sentence reductions for men, utilizing the same amendments that Big Meech did to obtain their relief. Like, this is nothing out of the ordinary. In 2014, Amendment 792 was passed. 46,000 federal prisoners got relief under that amendment.
And who passed that?
The Sentencing Commission. See, in 1987, the federal system changed in that parole was abolished. The Federal Sentencing Commission was put in place, and they promulgated a set of guidelines, which at the time were mandatory and guided the discretion of the judge. And so for a man like Meech, and we have a copy of the sentencing guideline table. I understand you're going to put it up for the viewers.
Yes.
Meech falls under what's referred to as criminal history category 2. And he had a level 42. And so a level 42 offender with the criminal history category 2 results in a sentencing range of 360 to life. Mm-hmm. So Meech received the low end of the applicable guideline range. That meant there was.
So Meech got the low end of the guideline, and this is what he says, This is what Meech says, Big Meech says that, you know what I'm saying? This is what he's saying, GG.
No cooperation at the earlier sentencing, at his first sentencing.
Right. Him and Southwest, his brother Southwest, and they essentially, and people have a misconception about taking a plea deal. Taking a plea deal does not mean you cooperated. Taking a plea deal just means you avoided going to trial and could have possibly gotten life without parole, or, depending on the circumstances, it could be many different variations. But if you take that plea deal, you're pleading guilty, you're avoiding.
But that's not what they talking about. That's not why they saying that he got knocked off. They're not actually talking about plea. They talk about the Cuffy situation. The plea deal, that's different. But yeah, we could debunk the plea situation. But let's see what they got to say.
Going to trial, and in most cases, you're guaranteeing yourself either maybe a shot at parole in the future, or in some cases, avoiding the death penalty. There's a lot of different reasons to take a plea deal.
Well, there's no parole in the federal system. That was abolished in conjunction with the sentencing guidelines that got passed. However, Meech's range was from 360 to life. And the reason why he got the 360 to 30 years, 360 months.
Right.
The reason why he gets the 360 is the judge gave him consideration because he took the plea. Otherwise, he'd have gotten on to life.
Right. And that's essentially, like I said, why they take the plea, because at least you have a chance. Might be 30 years, but at least you got a chance.
Well, yes. And also you have to understand that the weight of the prosecution was primarily on his brother.
Yes.
And so he had brought a challenge earlier on to try to get the case severed. And the way the government deals with that is they're saying, well, look, let's wait for the evidence to come in at trial. And if it creates a controversy or a conflict between both defendants, where essentially there's two prosecutors attacking Southwest's case, then there's going to be a severance, which meant the government's going to have to present the entire case all over again, which is a 3 or 4 month trial. They're not going to subject the judge to tie up a court for 6 to 8 months relitigating the same case. So at that point, the judge is already encouraging the parties find a reasonable settlement.
Yeah.
Since Meech refused to cooperate, he couldn't get below the 30. So people keep sending in the comments, what about the 5K1 letter? There was never any 5K letter. In order for him to go below the 30, they would have had to have filed a 5K1 letter. Since he never went below the 30, it's completely irrelevant.
And that ought to speak right there volumes to his loyalty, because like you said, the case was primarily based on his brother. Had he separated that and fought it on his own, he very likely could have.
Yo, that's different. The case was based on his brother. Why they say why they try to OD on Southwest T? That's why Southwest T don't fuck with him. This is why they actually. First they saying it's Big Meech fault, then they saying the Southwest T fault. Who's like, what the hell? Don't blame nobody. They out they did they thing, but
then you're hanging your brother out to dry to hold the bag for something that he was very much involved with. We're not saying that he wasn't doing what he was accused of, but he knew if he took that, then they both got the same deal, and nobody was hanging another one out to dry.
I mean, look, it was a reasonable settlement given the weight of the government's evidence, because even if you remove the wiretaps, I'm sure they had a.
And that's why Big Meech told Southwest C not to take the deal. Y'all think that Big Meech told him not to take the deal because he cooperated? No, he told him not to take the deal because he said, "Yo, they got wiretaps and everything on you, bro. They don't even got shit on me, like more or less, So I don't want, you're my little brother. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying, be the one that you gonna get. You gonna go to trial, and get life or anything like that, So more or less, we gonna have to, you know what I'm saying, we gonna have to spit ties right there and then, That's just what it is, That's like we gonna just have to, you know what I'm saying, we just gonna have to take, we gonna take it together, That's what Big Meech was doing, He took the thing. That's what they saying. Actually, like wait,
a whole bunch of people lined up to testify against these guys.
Oh, yeah.
And so at that particular circumstance, the 30 was the best they were going to possibly do. And keep in mind, he was still a relatively younger guy. You think he got knocked off when he was like 37 years old?
Yeah.
And so in the federal system, you don't do 30, you do 85%. So that means he's going to get down somewhere in the neighborhood of 25, 24. Then you take a year off for halfway house. Then you take a year off for drug program. So you start looking at, okay, well, no one wants to do the 23 or 24 years. But on the other hand, it's not a 30 piece, meaning day for day. And so, when we had our last conversation, we were actually planning on speaking about the disarticulation of the Sinaloa cartel as of last summer, when this whole situation with Big Meech popped up. And I hadn't had an opportunity to review the documents, which is why I kind of had to qualify my statements and just reason from first principles. But now I've had an opportunity, after we spoke last time, to go and pull all the documents. I've had an opportunity to read the transcripts, analyze the orders, and quite frankly, I have no indication whatsoever that Big Meech cooperated.
That's a lot in the comments. That's what you see, because I don't think the masses understand the way charges are, the way the guidelines were, and why you can get time off. And a lot of people don't even realize that he's not free. Currently, he's out, but he's not free. He's in a halfway house, right?
You are.
But you got people like Cuffy out here. You got people like Tammy Cowins, but Tammy Cowins didn't say much love, but she revealed the little son. But you know what I'm saying? We can't really take her situation. Even the courts couldn't even take her as her truthful statement, because she was lying to the court, so she'd be lying everywhere. Not that she'd be lying to the court, she'd be lying everywhere. People lie to the courts all the time. They don't think, more or less, you gotta stay more righteous than everywhere. Than anyone. So now we got Cuffy over here. He's the one, and Cuffy saying that he has no proof. That Tammy got all the proof. So Cuffy, you saying Tammy got all the proof? Like, We need understanding. And then 50 Cent said he's coming out with the Tammy Cowens. 50 Cent said he's coming out with the Tammy Cowens situation. And he ain't even coming out with the Tammy Cowens documentary because who knows? Maybe he was just, you know what I'm saying? Maybe he was just fucking with him. You know what I'm saying? It was a good thing to say at the time. 50 Cent probably won't fuck with Tammy Cowens. You know what I'm saying?
Or he is in prison until next January. The last year of your sentence prior to the First Step Act was served at home. It's called community confinement. You do part of it at the halfway house, then you transition to home confinement. He received an extended halfway house placement because of the First Step Act. So he has more than 1 year, plus he got an additional year taken off under the FSA. So, of course, these weren't factors that contemplated his decision-making back in 2008 because none of this had happened yet.
Finding where you fit.
So they say that Big Meech didn't know he was going to catch 20. He's catching 20 right now just because of everything that's going on. And laws done passed. And more laws passed. That he could get a lighter sentence.
They act that Trump signed in as to why he got that sentence reduction.
And they saying that Big Meech ain't honestly the biggest drug dealer in America. There's people that sold what Big Meech sold his whole lifetime in 2 months. I don't know if there's many. But maybe there's a few
to begin with, but that's not even the case. Am I correct? That was the guidelines that was being.
He received 2 sentence reductions. Well, he received technically 2 modifications of his sentences under the sentencing guidelines. Mm-hmm. Then he received a 3rd year off, a 3rd reduction resulting in 1 year off under the First Step Act and extended halfway house placement, mm-hmm. which is why he ended up with like a 16-month placement. They actually shorted him. He's in a circumstance so similar to mine. Like I'm owed 15 months. And so absent the FSA, I wouldn't have gotten released until next month.
Right.
Whereas I signed my halfway house papers in January of 23. And so there was an extended period because of the FSA credits towards application on the halfway house. So he's already gotten a benefit larger than the 1 year. And so everything is consistent with a non-cooperation resolution. And what people fail to appreciate is when Meech or Demetrius Flannery, because I don't know the man personally, but Flannery was perceived of as the largest African-American trafficker in the United States. They're not going to give a trafficker at that level a time cut because somebody a fraction of his size gets knocked off. Like John Gotti doesn't get a time cut for giving up the driver.
Yeah.
Like, what are we even talking about here? Cuffy got charged literally in February 2013, the first transaction. Which
Cuffy saying that he put Meech on they said he's just the driver. They try to call him the driver, GG. Like, what the hell? They try to call this man a driver. Yo, that shit is different, bro. They try to call this man a driver.
Where's the date? I got it right here for you. The early transaction is the February 5th through February 7th transaction. It's 2 kilos. It's 2 rat-ass kilos. You're not giving a drug kingpin a sentence reduction because some guy got knocked off with 2 keys that he didn't even pay for. It was a reverse thing. He got it on the cuff.
Yo, what they say? Yo, these niggas are standing on business, These niggas are standing on business, Damn, Cuffy got knocked off with 2 other things, like, what the fuck, why the fuck? And then he's gonna say Big Meech put him in on this advocated Big Meech and shit like that. I'm trying to tell you, the agent probably did him dirty, who knows, but we would never know unless 50 Cent actually making a documentary, which he said he was gonna do, which he's not, probably most likely. So it's just like, what the fuck?
From the cops. So he received no money, no assets. They set the guy up with their own product. And you think they're going to give the biggest African-American drug trafficker a sentence reduction because some guy got knocked off with 2 rat-ass keys?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
And then 10 days later, the second reverse thing, because after the authorities busted Cuffy's driver.
Yo, where's all the Cuffy supporters, GG? We need all the Cuffy supporters, going crazy. Where's that Sean G dude? We need them going, like, we need them telling us specifics now. Like, how the fuck is he going to get that? How the fuck is he going to get time? Because for getting knocked over thing. But he did say it was a truckload. But he said 2 kilos. He tried to set you up for 2 kilos. But I think you was getting a whole truckload food. Like, we gotta get shit right. We can't actually, you know what I'm saying? We can't go off what people saying. Oh, it was a truckload. Or it was this. It was that. What was it? What was it? What it actually was?
With the 2 keys that the authorities had set him up with, the authorities then go to Cuffy and say, hey, you owe us for those 2 keys. He didn't have the money to pay for it. So then he was able to persuade them to say, okay, well, you know what? We'll sell you another 15 keys. Like, who does this? Nobody in the actual trafficking world does this silliness. The guy's already told you he can't pay for the 2. Why is anybody going to give him 15? Why would he?
Yo, Louisiana, the nigga said that Cuff wasn't too smart. He ain't really too smart. So, but there, we can't be. I don't know, we can't. Yo, this seems weird. It seems like Cuffy got himself caught up. It seems like Cuffy actually got himself caught up. Seems like Cuffy put himself in this situation. No one put you in this situation but yourself, GG. That's different.
He fall for this nonsense. And so then when he gets knocked off for the 15, it's a total of 2 keys here, 15 keys there. There is no way in hell the federal government is going to give a sentence reduction to the largest African-American drug trafficker because some guy got knocked off with 2 rat-ass keys over here and 15 rat-ass keys over there. That's just not happening.
Yeah, that's not major weight. And people, I'm not downplaying what Meech was able to accomplish in Atlanta, from Detroit to Atlanta. Like, yes, he was big for the city. I think you said 150 keys a week was what they were moving at their height.
He said, according to the DOJ, it was 100 to 150 keys every 10 days.
Every 10 days. Okay, so every 10 days, 100 to 150 keys. Now that's a lot of product for the average person to think about. But one of the biggest things that you and I have had, taking issues with, when people talk, everybody that seems to be Mexican is automatically cartel. They just classify them as cartel. On the cartel level, that is peanuts. That is nothing.
They wouldn't do a transaction at 100 keys. Yeah, maybe 100, maybe 150 keys if your cousin's married to somebody, or they're going to go out of their way to throw a little bit of consideration. 150 is not a lot of product. And so what is characterized as large scale is large scale by American standards.
Correct.
Not by the guys that are bringing in 12 to 15 to 20 metric tons every 3 to 4 weeks. They're moving 20,000 units. There was one guy in LA who in 2 months sold more product than BMF did in 13 years.
GG, what the fuck is Big Meech is gonna get off is knocking off this dude for 2 petty keys over here, fucking 15 keys over here that he didn't even pay for. It seems like he did a drug transaction with a knock that he actually got and that the cops probably thought that they wasn't gonna get their shit back. Who knows? Look at the cops is making deals and they let you leave with the product. That's something different. Like, yo, bro. That's why you gotta stay righteous, bro. You gotta stay righteous, GG. You gotta stay righteous, bro, because this shit gets real spooky. It gets real spooky real quick. So if you're righteous, then you're good. Ain't no explanation. That shit is different, son.
Well, that's high-level trafficking.
You mind your business. Go talk about the
Meech was a
FTK.
very substantial trafficker for
shit.
What are essentially smaller markets. Detroit's not a big market. It's a mid-sized market. It's nothing. St. Louis?
Yo, this dude's going crazy, This dude's going crazy, We need the Cuffy fans here. What the fuck is St. Louis, That little ass market, You trying to say that he made his business on St. Louis, What the fuck, Of you, You, Mr. Campaign for 2 keys. Yo, this dude's crazy, This dude, this dude,
Los Angeles has got 30 times the population. The greater LA area is 30 times bigger than St. Louis.
Yeah. And when we say this, we're not downplaying whatever credit they had in the street. That's not what this is about. because I understand Cuffy was a guy in the streets and he might have been a player in St. Louis. But folks, there's a reason why the Rams left St. Louis and went to L.A. It's a smaller market. You take that big player in a smaller market and you stick him in L.A. and nobody even talks to him.
They wouldn't even talk to him. They wouldn't even talk to Meech. The guy Meech was talking to, it was at least 2, if not 3 degrees of separation away from an actual cartel guy. You know, the individual that Cuffy was talking about, he calls him a Mexican. My mom's Chihuahua was more of a cartel guy than whoever Cuffy was talking to. Like, come on, man. It's just getting silly. Like, once you actually dive into the facts, there's no way in hell the government would have agreed or even contemplated a sentence reduction for someone at Meech's level, who admittedly was a large-scale American trafficker, on the basis of somebody getting knocked off with, 2 keys here, 15 keys there. That's laughable.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, you're not coming at Cuffy like that.
You don't want to just make cookies.
Yo, they coming at Cuffy wild crazy. They coming at Cuffy wild crazy. They coming at both of them wild crazy. Gigi, actually,
And I think the really crazy part is, it
seems
like
true.
So many people all put Big Meech on a pedestal because he didn't take a deal. He took the 30 years, at least at the time. Like we've explained, some years have been coming off for different things. But, everybody put him on this pedestal as a stand-up guy.
Well, one thing for two things for certain, you say that they got caught with little weight. Why did they get so much time? If you could explain, he sit there and say that they got caught with a little bit of weight and they shit was mediocre, and shit like that. Why did they get so much time? If they was caught with a little bit of weight, and they over here doing some mediocre shit, they're not really big time. They don't even really know cartel shit. They ain't fucking with shit. Why would they get so much time? So you know what I'm saying? That shit hit different. You know what I'm saying? That's something to think about. If they understand that they had little weight, all right. But they got so much time.
And now he comes out and you have 50 Cent that's putting this whole thing into motion. Now all of a sudden it seems like everybody wants him to be a cooperator or a rat, because these people that talk on these TikTok pages and on these, like, you and I have shared things back and forth for the last week since that video of ours, done fairly well, at least for my channel. And people aren't reading from court documents. People aren't reading from anything factual. They're just saying stuff that doesn't even agree. Like, I had so many people say that he got out because of the FSA, the first step back, when that's not why he got out. I have so many people say, what about the 5K letter? There was no 5K letter. Like, there's so many misconceptions about why he was out.
He did get an accelerated release under the FSA.
Yeah.
Because he got an additional year knocked off and he received an extended halfway house placement. But that in no way implies that the guy cooperated. That's just all eligible prisoners received that time cut, as long as you didn't do something stupid in prison.
And like you said, too, a lot of times when Meech was definitely what I would consider a big fish for the government. They were going after Atlanta. I'm not downplaying what he was able to accomplish. He was definitely a big fish. But like you stated earlier, you're not going to get a time reduction for giving out someone smaller or even the same or maybe even slightly above. You got to give away the guy that's doing the metric tons deal you were talking about earlier to get a time cut.
Yeah. Well, look, Cuffy may very well have been a large trafficker, but not on the basis of the charges.
That's what we're trying to say.
The same thing with this guy Suarez. Everyone's making him sound like he's cartel. Well, I actually pulled the papers on it. Suarez got knocked off for a 3-kilo deal. Like, he met Meech in jail after a 3-kilo transaction. Like, again, Suarez isn't cartel, and he beat that trial. He beat that case at trial. 4 years later, he's under investigation for 1 pound of meth. 3 keys of coke, 1 pound of meth. Come on, man. These guys, look, they're traffickers. They're not cartel level operators. So when Cuffy says Meech was setting up Suarez, the government's not going to give Meech a time cut for a guy got caught with $57,000 in cash. That's absurd.
See, when you break it down and you put those numbers out there, it makes me wonder why people want to put.
Yes, And they just trying to give a logic. They just trying to give a logic. But at the end of the day, do not believe the hype. You know what I'm saying? Don't believe the hype. Don't believe what they like saying all the way, saying that shit's little, that shit's nothing. That's like people who want you to fucking either, you know what I'm saying, lose your life, want you in the system forever, or some type of shit. Because if it was nothing, why the fuck did they get so much time? Because, I mean, it could have been nothing, I guess. If you're saying it's nothing, you should have been a lawyer.
That on him so bad. And I don't know if it's just a love for 50 Cent, because largely whenever that man's had a problem with somebody, the masses have backed 50 for whatever, you know. Oh, I don't like Ja Rule. I don't like him either. I don't like this person. I don't like him either. And it seems like that's kind of started to be in the case with Meech. And this is a problem that you and we mentioned last time. And I feel it's fair that we kind of dive deeper into it because people are slowly but surely getting the information. The masses that have put out all this BS rhetoric, messages and voices like ours are being heard little bit by little bit. Once the truth finally comes out, a lot of these people could have a day in court with Meech if he chooses to go that route, because they are really slandering that man's name. They're basically slandering his legacy, and it could hurt him for future endeavors.
Well, look, in the United States, we all have a First Amendment right to speech. However, no one has a right to ignore objectively verifiable facts and then construct a alternative version of events while ignoring objectively verifiable facts and taking those false factual premises and attacking the property of another individual. Now, Meech's reputation has an intangible value in the tens of millions of dollars. Well, if you are ignoring facts and then creating this version of events that didn't happen to now undermine the commercial value of that property, there's a very good chance he's going to start seeing a lot of people in court. Remember, Meech is still in prison. And what people don't understand, and from reading everything, I can confidently state that what Meech did is he was hooking up Suarez, a small-time trafficker from California, who was an actual Mexican national, obviously not cartel, but a Mexican national, hooking him up with Cuffy. And so, and it's reasonable to infer that he was going to get a piece of the action. Otherwise, he wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, and that's what he was in jail for, was trafficking.
He can't say that today.
Right.
Not that he's going to get prosecuted because it was 13 years ago. He's still technically in federal prison. If he goes on publicly and says, hey, look, I wasn't setting the guy up, I was hooking up a dope deal, the BOP just pulls him right back into custody. They'll give him a 100 series shot, take away all his good time, take away his FSA year off, take away his extended halfway house placement. If he defends himself today, he gets himself back into prison for 2.5 years. Now, next January 27th, he gets released. On the 28th, he can hold a press conference and say, yes, I put together these guys to do a dope deal, and the Bureau can't take back the time. It vested. So between now and the 28th, he just has to just ignore all of this drama. And I have no doubt that if Flannery's as smart as presumably he is, he's probably talking to intellectual property attorneys right now. Because there are a number of individuals that have taken positions that are in complete contradiction of objectively verifiable facts. And that's something that you can't do, not if you have any assets. Now, if you're just some broke dick joker running his mouth, okay, no problem. No one's going to sue you. But if you have property, or if you have a successful business, or if you have a house, car, boat, assets, oh, he's coming. Because if he is my intellectual property attorney, if he is my guy, he'd be taking them for every cent they got.
Or if you produce TV shows with your likeness.
Oh, 50 Cent is different. See, people don't understand, and they underestimate this man. He's very intelligent. Because in the United States, you have to be able to show damages in order to bring a cause of action. Obviously, 50 Cent had nothing to do with this concert getting canceled. I don't believe that for a moment. However, the moment the concert was canceled, if Meech believed 50 Cent had anything to do with that getting canceled, he could sue him. You know, I keep hearing these guys talking on like TikTok. So, 50 Cent is going to burn everything on down. No, he never would. That's torturous interference with the guy's business opportunities. You can spin out a half a dozen cause of actions on doing something like that. And so the moment the concert got canceled, what did 50 Cent immediately do? He issued a statement saying, "Stop calling me. I had nothing to do with that." That was a categorical denial. He disavowed any intent to harm this man financially. And he made it clear by implication, do not imply that my trolling him contributed to him losing money. Because if 50 Cent actually caused him to lose that concert,
he's liable.
He's liable. And so the people that prepared that statement didn't prepare it for the YouTubing community. They didn't prepare it for the viewers. They prepared it for the judge next year in case Flannery prosecutes him. If he files a civil action, now he can come up and say, hold on a second. At the very first practicable moment, he immediately issued a statement with a categorical denial. And he disavowed any intent or implication. Well, those are all elements of a defense.
Well, Big Meech is coming, Dada. Big Meech is coming to collect, Dada. That's what he said. He said he's coming to collect you, G.
Most people think, 50's just trolling. He did that. No. 50's a man who's worth millions. Presumably his company's worth tens of millions.
That's why I don't think. That's why we said that 50 Cent. That's why I said that 50 Cent ain't coming out with the doc. Dada. 50 Cent ain't coming out with that doc. Dada. He ain't worried about that. Dada. That 50 Cent's doing his own thing, GG. You think 50 Cent's worried about that doc, Dada? Dada's? Nah, Dada. He's like, but he said it.
Millions of dollars. He's a very intelligent businessman, and he's being advised by very good lawyers. Other people are ignoring what 50 did, or they don't appreciate the implications of his move, and they're keeping on repeating the same false scenario that's completely divorced from reality and repeatedly slandering Meech. You know, and what's shocking is look, you know, you got a number of podcast hosts. They're doing it on video.
42 dogs over there trying to stay down for Meech, and I feel it, Dada, but 42 dogs, Dada, you an artist, Dada. I don't think you want that. I don't think you want to go toe to toe with that with 50 Cent, Dada. I don't think nobody in your camp want to go toe to toe with 50, Dada, as an artist, because you an artist, you know what I'm saying? Meech is something different, you know what I'm saying? Meech got the BMS show, Meech is Calusa, but I don't actually think, Dada, 42 Doug, you want that smoke with, you know what I'm saying? So you might want to, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Do what you want, GG, but you know what I'm saying? You already know, Dada. And this was dope. This was dope, Dada. But let's get back to what he was saying about Meech, Dada. This is crazy.
A great number of
Makes a little sense.
These are, just slam. I mean, I did a quick survey, probably about 30 minutes, where I was just scrolling. I stopped counting at 20 guys who were completely liable for their actions, for their statements. And that doesn't include that doesn't even include the guests.
Right.
So he's going to be able to sue the host, the podcast companies, the guests. Because when you ignore facts, so for instance, what's an example of an objectively verifiable fact? Okay, Ms. Cowens, entered into a cooperation agreement with the DEA. She was a civilian. She wasn't earning any time off of any beef that she was trying to work off. So she's what's technically referred to as an asset who's being compensated. So now the claim is that she entered into a third-party cooperation agreement. Well, in the third-party agreement, the beneficiary is the third party. In this case, Demetrius Flannery, assuming the theory was correct. It couldn't have been correct, however, because from the very inception, she was receiving financial compensation. Mm-hmm. Well, when a party enters into an agreement and receives compensation under that agreement, it's a first-party agreement. It's not a third-party agreement. And the agreement could have never contemplated Meech getting any time cut because she was getting paid from the very first month.
Yo, Jason Cobb said that. Jason Cobb said, yo, that motherfucker told that. What the fuck this nigga talking about all that shit? That's crazy. He's the one that set him up with the 2 and then the 15, but who knows? I don't know what's going on. Like, you gotta understand You gotta understand this shit is going crazy, GG. This shit's going crazy, But let's get right.
And you can't have both.
You can't have both.
It's one or the other.
And so for her, like, look, she ended up getting a monthly stipend of $3,000 a month. She gets a lump sum payment of $80,000 a month. She got money for her to move to a new place. So she gets another $24,000 to facilitate her move. And then the DEA even reimbursed her for the cost of a new car. She's 200 G's into this operation. Well, how in the hell are you anybody characterizing an agreement where the woman gets $200,000 as third party?
Yeah, that definitely sounds like some first party action.
And every podcast host and every commentator knows that she got paid. So in order for you to characterize it as a third party agreement, you are willfully ignoring those facts. And now you're going to call it something that it clearly isn't to undermine the commercial value of this guy's intangible asset? Oh, hell, you can't do that. Not if you got money.
And Tammy, when she cooperated against Terry White, which was the first, I guess, on record cooperation that she had, she wasn't even paid for that.
Bro, they trying to say Cuffy's lying, Cuffy's a small time dealer, or he's a big time dealer, but he actually was middleman and Meech and stuff, but Meech got knocked off. He put himself in a situation that he tried to get some shit from the Suarez dude, but he ran off on the Suarez dude. When he ran off on this is what they're saying. This ain't what IROC saying. This is what they're saying. This is what they're saying, bro.
Originally, they wound up giving her, I think, 45 or 55,000 after the fact. That was Mr. Harvey. Then he retired. Then Cromer reaches out and brokers that deal with her, and that's supposedly, and you might know more specifically, that's where when he's talking to her about what kind of deal they're going to work out, she even says, what about getting Meech a time cut? And he said, we'll have to talk about that.
Yeah, we've already discussed the nature of the agreement. This is another one of the talking points I had. I call this the sequence of events.
Right.
Because she enters into a cooperation agreement with the DEA in 2009 with respect to a gentleman named Terry White. Right. Apparently, Mr. White was involved in some criminal activity, and he had used her bank accounts to surface capital. Mm-hmm. And she cooperated with the authorities. So basically, she's just a civilian, maybe a little bit of a do-gooder, because Agent Harvey testified in one of the hearings where he's like, hey, look, she was a very unusual witness in that she was doing it because she just wanted to do the right thing. Like most people in those circumstances are cooperating for their own self-interest. She didn't do so. So that cooperation in 2009 resulted in Terry White getting prosecuted in 2010, getting sentenced in 2011. Well, in June of 2011, the DEA
they actually saying that they actually saying that they're like, yo, Gigi, this is what it is, This is what's actually in the paperwork, Fuck everything else, Fuck what these niggas trying to say. What the hell are you trying to slander shit? What we need these people? This is what it is. This is what they saying, Everybody else is just speculating. Everybody else just talking what these people say. Everybody else is just hearsay, These people say, yo, I took my time, and read every single piece of paperwork, I had to take my time and read it, and it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? They're educated. You know what I'm saying? That's what they saying.
They closed her as an informant. Her relationship was officially ended. In July of 2011, a month later, DEA agent Harvey, her handler, retires. So she's closed as an informant in June. Her handler's retired in July. She's got no further contact with the DEA whatsoever. In August, she gets a call out of the blue. This is the contact that she receives from Agent Cromer, excuse me. This is another one of the objectively verifiable facts people are ignoring, because later on it came to light that Cromer had been paying a woman that he was actually having an affair with. This became the subject of an investigation by the Office of Professional Responsibility. Well, they had to reconstruct the timeline of events.
They say he got caught with 2 bricks, He got caught with 2 bricks, then 5 bricks, Once he said Cuffy got caught with 6 bricks, I realized they would never give Meech a time cut for that. Trading a kingpin for 6 bricks or even 3 bricks, and Suarez got caught with. That's different,
Well, they obtained the phone records. So they had the records closing her as an informant in June, Harvey retiring in July, and then Cromer calling her out of the blue in August. Well, people are saying she was working at Meech's direction. Well, she would have had to have been the one to have initiated the contact if she was doing it at Meech's behest.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that the phone records proved that she got called out of the blue by someone she'd never heard of before meant this wasn't coordinated. She's just going about her business. She's at work one day, she gets a call. And so the guy reaches out there and says, hey, you did a great job working with Harvey a couple of months ago on that other case. We'd like to reopen you up. And that's when she comes back, according to the transcripts, and says, hey, look.
They said 100. They said, yo, stop playing with their names, but it's all right, because you can't tell them everything, So if you saying, oh yeah, we used to move 150 bricks, it's okay, Let me say it, but we used to move 1,300 bricks, a week. That's what they say, I feel it,
I'm not. She's saying, I'm not a criminal. I don't have any contacts. And he's like, well, we're not going to use you in that capacity. We're going to use you to facilitate the investigations. See, what most people don't understand is it.
One thing for sure, two things for certain. It's not your job to clean up other people's lives, So you don't gotta sit there, and clean up everybody's life. What they say on you, people lie on you. People's lying here, people lying there, people's lying there. It's their job to clean up their lives, They gonna have to retract what they say and clean up their own lives. For you to go out your way, and try to clean up other people's lives when they lying on you, Yo, who you supposed to be, Jehovah Witness? You over there helping these people, stay righteous? Nah, they gonna have to clean up their own lives,
It is common tactics for females who are not involved in criminal activity to be the ones who move the money. That happened numerous times in my case, where we were getting product from Vancouver and we would have the money go from LA up to Vancouver. And it was literally a woman in her mid-50s, 54, 55, 56-year-old Caucasian woman driving a Volkswagen station wagon. Not a Volkswagen, excuse me, a Volvo station wagon.
Yeah.
And so when a highway patrol officer drives by her, he's not looking at her thinking she's transporting product. She's in a Volvo station wagon, she's somebody's grandmother. The cars will be filled with presents. She's driving up to Seattle to see her grandkids in case she did get pulled over. All to cover, we had the hidden compartments in the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's standard operating procedure. And so when Cromer reaches out to her and says, hey, we're targeting Hispanics and we need you to move the money. Well, that's consistent with how the DEA would put together one of those operations, because what the actual Hispanics, the big boys, would be doing, they wouldn't have no Latinos handling that money. They want someone like her. And so they actually used her in several different investigations. But the important point is when he makes this pitch to her, he said, and if we take down anybody big, he says, you'll get a lot of money. And now she says during that first phone call, which was completely out of the blue, which means she hadn't discussed it with Meech. She, during that first phone call, says, well, can I get Demetrius Flannery a time cut? Now, the DEA agent says, well, we'll have to see about working on that.
Right.
Now, that's significant because the DEA agent has no authority to enter into a cooperation agreement where the beneficiary is a prisoner. See, Flannery was in the custody of the Bureau of Prisons in conjunction with an order issued by the judge. The only party that can agree to a third-party agreement on behalf of Meech would be the U.S. Attorney's Office in Detroit. So when she asks the DEA agent in Atlanta, he can't give her a yes or no answer. He had to buy for time. He got off the phone with her. He had to have called the Detroit people and say, hey, are you willing to give this guy Flannery time cut? We have a prospective cooperator. She expressed an interest in helping, but she wants to get him a reduction. Well, obviously, the U.S. Attorney's Office had to have said no. Mm-hmm. They're not going to give the biggest guy they ever prosecuted a time cut. There was nothing that Gotti could have gotten or nothing that Chapo could have done. Once you're at that level, you're not receiving any consideration. And so when the DEA agent contacts her back, now we don't know exactly what transpired between the DEA and the U.S. Attorney's Office, but we can infer it was a no because right after that, she enters into the agreement where she gets paid the $200,000.
Yep.
So the fact that she entered into an agreement where she was getting paid meant that her counter proposal
didn't work.
Government offered her an opportunity to make money. She proposed as an alternative compensation scheme a reduction for Meech. He can't commit to that. The next time he talks to her, they enter into the agreement where she starts getting paid cash. So obviously he contacted the U.S. Attorney's Office. That got rejected. So then he reached back to her and said, hey, look, the best we can do is pay you. So she took the money.
Tax Act doesn't care which tax filing software you've used in the past.
But that means that she was that what she was doing, she was already doing whatever the hell she was doing. She just tried to, you know what I'm saying, throw his name in there. Yeah, that shit different. And then he's like, yo, wait, don't mention my name. That's not how you mention my name.
This is a guy that was buying billboards on the side of the road saying BMF, basically flaunting what you're doing in front of the whole damn city. Like, that is a big FU. He was like John Gotti going on Time Magazine saying he's proud to be a gangster. When you do that, yeah, there's a certain bravado that comes with that, but there also is a target that comes with that.
Certainly. And
she told Dada, but what? I don't get it, Dada. I don't get it, Dada. She told Dada, but if she told it was for the life right, that's why probably she got the life right, Dada. Maybe Dada.
And it would have to have been an enormously significant target who was significantly larger.
That's different. That is a good question.
Meech. And Suarez is not the guy.
Yeah.
Because when Meech met Suarez, he was in jail for some 3 rat-ass keys.
That's crazy, Dada. What did Meech get for giving Tammy his life rights? What did Meech get for that? Why did he get, or what the hell did Tammy do to get beat Meech's life rights? I don't know. That is different right there. I don't know. Maybe she could get shit done for him.
Well, that is an important factor right there. And I've done a show with our mutual friend, Matt Cox, and really drove that home because everybody wants to say, well, he set it up. He got the time cut. He can't. That's what we're trying to say is hypothetically, if he did set it up, if he did say, hey, get me a time cut, Tammy, do whatever you can do. If she gets anything, money or whatever, then that deal is off the table. You can't, like you said, you can't have both.
That's right. No, that's 100% correct. Also, you have to understand
that the Department of Justice law enforcement agency on its own cannot promise, agree to any consideration by a federal prosecutor's office or court in exchange for the CIA's cooperation.
If he was driving it from prison, encouraging her to do so, she would have contacted the DEA.
Mm-hmm.
That's why people are ignoring the fact that the contact was initiated by the authorities. So that it wasn't some scheme she hatched.
She's about to get. Tammy was Meech's rat to get him out or tried to. That's why he gave her his life rights. I mean, why would he give her his life rights? Why would he give her his life rights, Gigi? Like, that's fucking, they got me pondering the dada. How is he? The dada. Like, yo, is he? The dada, like, oh no, Meech, why you give Tammy your life rights, bro? Why you kept on the dada mess with it? And does he still, what's going on with that situation? Like, what happened? How did it crumble? Oh, man, this shit's getting
Meech.
And another question that I hear quite a bit is, why would he deal with someone that was doing all that? I'm not going to dive too much into the Terry White situation because I don't want to get off track of what we're going on here. Who knows if Meech knew that she was doing that? I mean, obviously, like you said, if you put it together, I'm sure, facilitated the meet between Cuffy and Suarez for some sort of compensation. He can't say that, not right now, like you said, and who knows if he ever will say it. But odds are, yes, he probably put them two together in some fashion. Now, what do you think, in your opinion, did he know about her dealings with Agent Cromer, if any at all?
I don't think he knew anything. And the one fact that we can infer that from, or the circumstances we can, is because once the documents were made public, with Cuffy's filing implying that she was involved in cooperating, what was her initial reaction? She ran to the prison where Meech was being housed at.
Yep.
She wanted to get to him before he heard about it from anybody else, so she could try to explain it away or water it down.
And then we went over his response to that in our last episode.
That's right. And that's when he comes back with, hey, just keep my name out of this.
Yeah. Not my name off the paperwork. That wasn't what was said. Keep my name out of it. Yes.
Because she's saying, hey, I introduced Cuffy to Suarez. Meech knows he's right in the middle. And see, and what people don't appreciate is the fact that on August 5th, that transaction occurred. Cuffy, Suarez sent several kilos of cocaine to Cuffy in St. Louis. Well, the product arrived on August 5th. Suarez called Tammy Cowens, not because Tammy Cowens was going to cooperate or anything. He was looking for Cuffy. She didn't pick up the phone and call the DEA to report the information. It was just bad luck for Cuffy in that the man she's sleeping with happens to be a DEA agent. So when Suarez calls, this guy's hanging out with her at her place. She's making spaghetti. So when she answers the phone, he hears the conversation on her phone. There's not a call from her to the agent. He was present. So she wasn't even trying to get Cuffy busted.
Yeah.
It was just pure bad luck. The first time Suarez called her, literally, like they were in the car together. Well, it just so.
Now we understand that shit, but why would it be Tammy? Why would it be Tammy? Why would it be Tammy the daughter and the soap opera is generating the internet we live in, the daughter Tammy and Cuffy were shopping for the movies first. Meech can't make a deal in jail. That's why he had Tammy doing it initially. That's the Meech got his time by 2008. Why was back in the county in jail 2012? That's where he met the Mexican plug. All right. GG. We understand that. Tammy went back to Meech when she was going to get exposed because of Cuff files the emotion. Because she was about to get exposed because Cuff's filed emotion.
That she's hanging out with her boyfriend in the car. From the circumstances, it looked like she may have just gotten blown him. They're in the car talking. The phone rings. She answers it. It's Suarez. Well, the guy's sitting in the front seat with her. She didn't report him by picking up the phone and calling. The agent heard Suarez talking to her. And then a few weeks later, the agent hears Suarez again talking to her saying, hey, the truck's up in St. Louis. Where's Cuffy? So now, of course, she is working for the DEA. The agent says, hey, call this guy Cuffy. Boom. Now the agent calls St. Louis. Well, had Agent Cromer not been sleeping with Tammy Cowens, none of these guys would have gotten busted.
Yeah, we're not even having this conversation. Well, I mean, I don't know.
Cuffy's the one that initially, they say that Cuffy's the one that initially told Meech to give his rights to Tammy because he was doing a Hollywood BMF movie. Cuffy's the one that said it. He did say it. He said, yo, I told Meech to give the rights to her. He did say that.
The way things are going with Cuffy, I think he got busted eventually, but we're not having that conversation about this.
That's right. It's an unfortunate set of circumstances where Meech went out of his way to help Cuffy obtain a plug out in Cali.
And again, we want to reference in the documents it's listed that CS2 is the one that sent Cuffy to deal with who he says cartel, but is not even cartel, not in the least. It's an undercover agent. But CS2, we don't know the identity other than the fact that it is a female.
Well, here's the circumstances. After Suarez calls Tammy contacts Cuffy on August 5th. Cuffy gets the coke. He actually obtained the product. A few days later, Suarez is calling Tammy saying, hey, where is this guy? He never paid for the material. He ripped off the connection. So Meech hooks Cuffy up with the guy from Cali. The guy from Cali comes through with the product, drops off the material. Cuffy rips the guy off. She knows that he ripped him off because Suarez is bombarding her saying, hey, what's going on? Tell your buddy Meech the guy's no good. He's not paying. This happens in August. In November, Cuffy calls her again and saying, hey, I need a plug. Well, what does she do? She already knows he ripped off the last guy. She wants nothing to do with this guy. So she calls the DEA agent and says, hey, that guy in St. Louis that ripped off the guy from California, he's looking for a new connect, but I don't want nothing to do with him. So the DEA agent says, okay, well then we'll introduce him to another informant. That's CS2. So now Cuffy comes, meets with Tammy. Tammy introduces CS2 to Cuffy. CS2, the second informant, introduces Cuffy to the undercover DEA agent out of Memphis. So this is another point of confusion where I think I've heard numerous people saying that, well, the Mexican that Meech hooked Cuffy up with set him up. No. The Mexican that Meech introduced to Cuffy is the guy that Cuffy ripped off.
Yeah.
The reason why Cuffy couldn't go back to Meech's Mexican was because he burned the guy. That's why he reached out to Tammy saying, I need a new plug, because he couldn't go back to the other guy.
And that's what we talked about earlier in the last episode. If you're looking for a plug, you get one facilitated by Meech, possibly. You burn that. Now you're looking for another one. You're now spiraling as a dealer, as a trafficker. You're looking for product. You rob this guy. Now you're looking for the next guy. You're not going through any sort of vetting process. You're not, looking into these people as deep as you should, which is, like I said, had it not been this case, it would have been somewhere soon that Cuffy would have gotten arrested. Look, he may have been a high-level guy at one time, but at this point in time, when you're just randomly trying to deal with whoever you can, you're spiraling out of control. You're nothing more than the street guy at that point.
Had he not ripped off Suarez, he would not be in prison today.
Yes.
Yeah, that's different, Dada. So he put himself in a predicament like that, Dada. That shit's nuts, Dada. He put himself in a predicament, Dada. And so all these new people, Dada. Can you believe that? Because he said Suarez is good. Oh, Suarez is good. Suarez is good. That's what Cuffy said. Cuffy said Suarez is good, Dada. And Cuffy's the one that told Meech to give the race to Tammy, Dada, at first.
And so once Tammy wipes her hands clean of this guy by handing him off to CS2, CS2 then introduces him to the undercover agent out of Memphis. Mm-hmm. And, it's an interesting issue where, and this has happened with a number of guys I've had conversations with, because for some reason, a lot of the African-American traffickers, they consider Mexican Americans to be Mexican. They're not Mexican. I ask them all the time, you're African American. Are you African? No. You're an American of African descent. Well, a Mexican American isn't a Mexican. No cartel guy would ever behave like this. If you're talking to a Mexican American and he tells you he's cartel, it's a cop. If you're talking to some guy about buying 2 rat-ass keys, it's a cop. There are no Sinaloa cartel guys operating in no small market like Memphis. Those are customers of customers. And no one is going to be hooking up anybody, especially someone from a different city you don't know. Why would you assume the guy's just going to give you 2 keys on the strength? I mean, none of this makes any sense. It's clearly not high-level trafficking activity. It's not the kind of thing that they would have given Meech an extra piece of chicken for on Thursday, much less give him a time cut.
I hope this clears up some of this miscommunication because, I do think the coming of age technology with YouTube, podcasts, TikToks, where people can put out news quickly, is a good thing in some respects. But at the same time, it can be detrimental because a lot of people are quick to put out unbiased opinions and pass them off as facts when they've really not done the correct research. And that's the thing is people will say, obviously, this guy didn't do his research. Obviously, you didn't either. If you're not understanding what we're saying, You're the one that didn't do the research. You're the one that listened to a TikToker give his opinion. And I think a lot of people have heard these phone calls of Cuffy from prison, and he's saying he got the reports back from this Frank's hearing. Now, and we can kind of close out with this. Wasn't there a situation where Tammy was on the stand and she did say that she was attempting to do this for Meech? Is that what he got, saying that his name was even involved? Because we covered the fact that he reached out to Meech.
These are the transcripts. She makes the statement that during the first call, which was unsolicited, where she got the call out of the blue, she testified that she offered as a counter proposal a circumstance where she would have received compensation in the form of a reduction for Meech.
Right.
And that's where the agent said, look, we'll have to take a look at that. Because he obviously has no authority to bind a prosecutor. He's just a regular cop.
Right. And so that's what he got from the Franks hearing.
What? Yes, that's all that's available as of now.
So he gets that. He's thinking that Meech is possibly involved. So like he said, he sends him the certified mail, says he never got a response, which why the hell would he? Meech is not going to complicate himself and put himself in the middle of facilitating an outside drug deal. So I don't blame him a bit for that. That doesn't mean he's guilty. That is where people, I think, are getting all this because they don't understand the context, because they've never went to the extent of getting the transcripts like you just held up.
Well, yeah. And, also, I think that perhaps they don't understand the implications of what they're saying. People throw around the term third-party cooperation agreement, knowing she got paid. Well, it's a first-party agreement. And it's just unfortunate in that, you can have fun with people and you control them a little bit and you can jerk the guy's chain and you can make funny, cute little memes. But once you start damaging the commercial value of an intangible asset valued in the millions or at least tens of millions, because for Flannery, it's not going to be difficult to establish the value because you could just use 50 cents as numbers. How much did you pay the family? How much you pay Tammy? How much did your company put up to produce this 3 or 4 seasons of this show? Well, that's the value of Meech's reputation. And so now this may actually turn out to be Meech's big come up because after he did a couple of concerts, yeah, he could do that. Maybe he could have appeared in 1 or 2 rap videos. He could have done that. He could have done the podcasting tour, but the opportunities to monetize his life experiences are going to be limited because at some point he's going to oversaturate the market. Now he could go on to speaking engagements, but as far as being able to accumulate a large amount of wealth, that wasn't going to be necessarily in the future. Well, this provides him an opportunity to now come in and put together a massive lawsuit. He can, there could easily be 100 defendants, 200 defendants.
Crazy.
You get 100 podcasters that own houses. He may end up with 100 houses out of this whole thing.
Ha!
And you want to know the ironic thing that I think escapes a lot of people? 50 says, I'm not dealing with him no more. He's a rat. He cooperated. And so now he's working with Tammy to put out this quote unquote documentary or whatever. You're dealing with a documented informant. There is no question 100% that Tammy put Terry White in jail. You're saying that allegedly she was working to put Cuffy, even though she didn't, that she was working to put Cuffy and them in jail for a sentence reduction for Meech. So she's just as bad as what you're accusing Meech to be, but yet you're saying you're working with her. So where's the loyalty there? Like, where is this? I don't get that. To me, that's two-faced.
Well, the thing is, I don't believe is going to participate in that documentary by deviating from her previous testimony. You have to understand, the court and the prosecutors relied upon the testimony she provided in defending against Cuffy's wiretap challenge. She cooperated in at least 4 documented different investigations. Well, if she comes in on a documentary and says she lied during the testimony, she's reopening up 4 criminal cases. Well, before she goes on any documentary, the government's going to have a come to Jesus conversation with her. If you deviate from your testimony, because she already said she got a call out of the blue.
Mm-hmm.
So that means she wasn't working at Meech's behest because Meech had no way of knowing that some agent was going to call her out of the blue.
Yes.
He's not a mind reader. If she deviates from that, they're going to take back the $200,000. And if they reopen up the criminal cases, they're prosecuting her. Because they're not going to let her play fast and loose with the facts after the judges relied upon the government's assessment of her credibility to deny the wiretap challenges. This is going to reopen up Cuffy's case, get him right back into court. Oh, yeah, she'll be smashed. Her lawyers are going to tell her, do not deviate one iota from your testimony. And so we know she's not going to say anything different from what she testified. She's going to say, yeah, I got a call from Cromer. She made a counter proposal. They turned it down.
And Lord help her, like you said, if she does, because that's a whole nother set of problems.
Yeah, huge can of worms. And so with respect to the actual sentence reductions, in case you want to get him out of the way really quick, he received a reduction in 2021 under Amendment 782, which allowed for a 2-level reduction for all drug defendants across the board if you were eligible to receive the reduction and your conduct in prison indicated that you weren't being a jackass.
Saying 50 Cent's a gatekeeper is crazy. 50 Cent, I don't think 50 Cent's a gatekeeper because they be black because they blackball 50. That's how he's a gatekeeper. And doing this, dirt don't clean through the third, doing what they did to you, I doubt it.
So there were 46,000 people who received sentence reductions under Amendment 782. So nothing out of the extraordinary whatsoever. And then on the last one, which was in 24, he received a 1 category reduction because the Sentencing Commission altered the way they counted criminal history points, which is consistent with what Meech said originally, because back in his original sentencing in 08, he always said he was criminal history category 1. The government persuaded the court to adopt a category 2. 16 years later, the Sentencing Commission said, no, Meech was right. So they took him back to the 1. So he went from 360 to 324 on the first reduction. Then he went from 324 to 292 on the second reduction. And then the final year he got off was under the First Step Act. So yes, he did technically receive an FSA release. But the 2 sentence modifications he received were under retroactive changes to the guidelines that don't contemplate any cooperation whatsoever.
I hope we shed some clarity on that. Again, we don't really cover too many things back-to-back episodes, but I think there was a lot of questions that was being asked. I felt it was worthy enough to come on and kind of clear up some of those, dive deeper into exactly why he did get the time cuts, the whole third-party, first-party cooperation and the differences, clear that up, that if it's documented that she was taking all this stuff, there's no possible way.
They said Meech, they say Meech Meech couldn't have told like he didn't get nothing from it, It was like, it's not, he couldn't have told Now we got this dude, Sean G, saying that he got the paperwork, and that.
What documents? This is public information. We do not wish to slander, libel, defame, or hurt anybody. We are discussing a court case, and that is our only intent, is to do that. So,
yo, this dude's different, This dude's different right here. You just said what you said before, so
we're potty training. He's got pull-ups training.
Like different right here, So but he saying Tammy's a liar. He said we just hear about Tammy. Now he's saying Tammy's a liar, so that's a good thing. So let's see what he got to say.
Luna, stop it. My whole
good. Good. Go ahead, Dad. Oh man, my boy's sad, bro.
Perception of this case has changed dramatically, and I'm going to get to that soon. And you may be able to ascertain
so different
where my thinking has gone.
Where did it go? Tell us, please.
Versus the last video that I did. Also, I want you to sit tight because remember the mistake that I said I made? Remember that? I told you that? Maybe it wasn't, right?
Oh, he said he's not. He's trying to say Meech, right? Oh, no, he's going back to his
Keith
thing.
Cromer in person.
This
Well,
is
not
different.
personally, on the phone, on 2 separate occasions for over 2.5 hours. And he clarified for me because I went back after I made the mistake. I went back and I said, Keith, you know, what's up with this no third party cooperation agreements not being allowed in the Northern District of Georgia? And what he did was he said, Sean, obviously it's a federal thing. You could do it anywhere in the country, but it was our policy. It was our policy in the Northern District of Georgia when I was there that we didn't do third party cooperation agreements. And something may have come up in what we're going to talk about today. Okay. And I kind of understood what Keith Cromer was talking about because he said, Sean, we really didn't focus on low-level African-American drug trade, right? That's the terms that he used, African-American. He said, I mostly focused on mid-level to high-level cartels on the border and in Latin America. That was mostly my thing. How he got wrapped up into this, you'll see. But he says, we mostly didn't do this. He says, African-American drug dealers are low-hanging fruit. That's like small potatoes. You know, he used very politically correct terms, but really what he was saying is
all right.
Niggas that deal drugs was small to him. He didn't even deal with that. You know, they would let lower level dudes deal with that, or the local police. And then if they felt like they need to pick up something, they would do something. They would pick up a case. But today, we're going to talk about Jack Harvey and his testimony. This is dated. This is the Frank's hearing excerpt from Volume 2, October 18th, 2016. The two U.S. attorneys, Dean Hogue, Michael Riley, Cuffy's lawyer, Joanne Trogg, Timothy Rush's attorney, Preston Humphrey, Andre Rush's attorney, Bob Herman, and Mr. Stephen Welby, who is the attorney for Gibbs. So today, I'm only going to focus on, because this is a pretty big, and I want to go slow with this because Jack Harvey's testimony is so important, right? So first of all, let me set the tone. Let me set the tone for Jack Harvey, right? So
let's just set the tone for this dude, this dude Sean G, remember, this dude, he been fucking saying that this nigga Meech, been doing this, been doing that, whatever the case may be. Then he retracted. Then he say he's been doing something different, been doing something else. Then he just the other day, he looked like he wanted to cry, and he was just like, Meech ain't. Now he's saying that Tammy's a liar.
Cuffy.
Bedwetting happens. Good nights can help.
And it's a Cuffy French hammering and shit like that. So, you know what I'm saying? About to find out a little.
Told me that Jack Harvey is the same agent to bring all the BMF indictments, right? And that it seems a hell of a coincidence that Tammy Cowens ends up with Jack Harvey. Now, I've heard that before. Somebody else called and told me, said, Sean, man, how peculiar is it that the main DE agent that brought down all of the BMF. He brought all of the BMF indictments. And y'all, if anybody can corroborate that information, if anybody is from BMF, and you can go in the comment section and say, yo, I was a part of BMF. It was Jack Harvey that brought my indictment. That would just confirm. But Cuffy confirms it here. I've also heard that elsewhere. I've heard his name mentioned in other. Blue Harvey mentions his name. Not Blue Harvey. Blue Da Vinci mentions his name. Excuse me. His name is constantly being thrown around. Jack Harvey. This is before he retires. I think after he does everything, brings down BMF, he then retires in around 2011. So he's on the stand and he's being cross-examined by Herman. And Herman is Andre Rush's attorney.
But like he's gonna get into Tammy lying to that, but let's get into Cuffy's nephew's conversation. Let's get into Cuffy's nephew's conversation. You know what I'm saying? Let's get into Cuffy's nephew's conversation, see what he was talking about there, because they said this dude said he got locked up with self-esteem, or he was locked up with self-esteem.
Is from actual court documents that is available to the public.
Yeah, but you don't want to read.
Thank you. Shout out to all my subscribers. Peace.
Yeah.
All right, so Cuff, what's up, man?
Oh, that's Cuff.
All right, so y'all listen, man. I got my man Cuffy on the phone.
This is Cuff. We gotta get Cuffy's nephew. We're looking for Cuffy's nephew. Put that up. Hold on. Let's get right. We're looking for Cuffy. The phone call Cuffy's nephew, JG.
And you from St. Louis?
Baby, that's who he is.
St. Louis Peabody Projects. Now, Baby, what's your relationship with Cuff?
Cuff is like an uncle to me. You know, so he's a big homie from the hood. He's like an uncle. I look at him as like an uncle, though.
Okay. And where you from in St. Louis?
Peabody Projects.
Oh, you from Peabody. All right. Now, how old are you?
I'm 46 years old.
Okay. Now you met Meech, and Terry and all them from BMF?
I met them back in 99 through Cuff's little brother, Wani, which everybody call him Magic. St. Louis people call him Wani, Atlanta people call him Magic. That was like my big brother. He took me up under his wing, you know what I'm saying, out the neighborhood. Yeah. And he used to have me flying to Vegas and shit to the fights. Back in the days, that's how I met Meech in Southwest T.
Okay.
Wani.
Yeah, shout out to Wani, man. He died at Atlanta USP, didn't he?
Yeah, of course, rest in peace to Big Bro.
Yeah. So, Baby, man, you probably been watching my content. You probably been watching a lot of other niggas' content on YouTube, and some you agree with, some you don't agree with. You may agree with mine some days, and some days you may not. But talk to me about what you know about this whole case with Meech and Tammy and Cuff and Suarez, if you know anything about it, man.
Well, I know nothing about Suarez, but I know everything about Meech and Tammy. Like I told you, I've been around them dudes since I was 19, 20 years old. I idolized them dudes. I respect what they was doing for our culture, for our people, and all this old shit. But at the end of the day, it's never going to be that I agree with you some days, I agree with these people some days. I'm going to always agree with what's right. That's how I was raised. That's how all them dudes raised me. You know what I'm saying? And that's just who I am. I don't got no picks or nothing. But when you're right, you're right. You're wrong, you're wrong. If it was Cuff wrong, I would be on Meech's side. If Meech had all the facts and everything to support it, the way Cuff do. I don't got no picks and chooses. You know what I'm saying?
Now, Baby, stay right there. I'm sorry for cutting you off. Now, explain to the people you did Fed time. Talk about your Fed bits.
I did my first Fed bit. I came in the system in 2002. I had a gun B for 922G. I got 36 months for it. I came home in 05, stayed out for almost a year, not quite a year, and I came right back in 06 with my own indictment, but my indictment really stemmed from the BMF indictment because I got caught in the house with T when they came out with the indictment.
Which T, baby? Southwest T?
Southwest T.
Okay.
Terry.
Okay.
Terry
You got caught in the house with Terry.
Yeah, I got caught in the house with Terry, and that's how like my investigation got broad. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're gambling. I'm the first young nigga to ever beat T out $1 million. T will tell you this from his own mouth.
Gambling?
Yeah, shoot dice.
Okay.
Shoot dice, playing cards. I'm the first young nigga ever beat him out $1 million. T used to keep me broke because he used to always, big bank take little bank.
Right.
He used to keep me broke. But this particular day, and the day prior to this, I got off on T. I hit T before this. I hit him for like close to a half a ticket, and then a few months, it wasn't even a few months later. Probably a few weeks later, when he came back to town, I beat him out close to $2 million. Me and another two friends of mine, like we was all just gambling, going at it. But
all right, so baby, that's cool. Now let's get back. So you was telling us about 2005. You got caught in the house with Southwest T, and you went back to the feds.
Yeah, I went back. Well, they let me out right there. I was on federal papers, so they let me out because I wasn't a part of that indictment. But they were steady watching me because they want to know why was I around these type of dudes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they was watching me, and when they let us out, they kept investigating us. Then I got locked up on my own beef with some Mexicans or whatever, but they still try to intertwine it to the BMF shit, and I ended up catching 20 years behind that.
Okay, and that's the bid you on now?
No, that's the bid before I came home.
Okay.
Off the 20-year bid, and I stayed out 6 months, and I just caught this 10-year bid.
How much you did on the 20?
17.
Okay.
You know?
All right. So you know the federal system, you know the importance of paperwork, and like you say, and listen, baby, man, I appreciate you saying that what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. Whatever the paperwork state, if Cuff was wrong as two left shoes, you gonna call it that way. And
I'm gonna call it the same spade. I'm gonna call it the same way if Cuff was wrong. Because this is what they taught me. These are the guys that taught me. I don't have no picks and choose. I don't have no favoritism. When you right, you right. You wrong, you wrong.
Okay.
You know, and that's just what it is. And right now, Meech, you're wrong because Meech put me in contact with Tammy Cowins. Like when I was locked up, me and Meech was communicating. Just that Meech was like on his dick at the time. Like everybody turned their back on. Nigga, I'm hustling and enjoying everything. I'm sending bruh money. I'm making sure his books and shit is straight.
You sending who money? You sending who money, baby?
Meech.
Okay. While he's in the joint?
While he in the joint and I'm in the joint.
Okay.
I can tell you this.
Okay.
He could not deny none of this.
Okay.
I kept it running all the way through. He put me with Tammy. Tell me like, man, she'll come see you this, that, and the third. And like, me and Tammy got a rapport. We got cool. But when it came out, when the Cuffy came out with the paperwork saying to do, I checked the shit out of Tammy. When I was in Beaumont USP, I called her from the jail phone, from the wall phone. And I tell her like, look, I got this paperwork. You dead wrong. You shouldn't be getting into men business. You out your league. You need to fix this shit to get Cuffy at home, get Cuffy home or whatever. And this Tammy was responsible. Well, Meech is a friend of mine, and I really.
That's crazy though. But Meech is a friend of. Let's see what she got to say. Cause that's different.
I want to see Meech get out of jail. He don't deserve. I said, so you think Cuffy's deserve in jail? And that's one of his friends over how many years they've been friends? And she got quiet or whatever. And and I told her, like, look, you need to fix that. They took that same recording. I never knew Tammy was an informant until I got the paperwork from Cuff. But Tammy went back and gave the DEA and the handler of the case that record, told them to get that recording from me. And they denied Cuffy bond because they said I was a threat. Like, I was a threat to her life. That's why Cuffy couldn't get a bond. This is all paperwork. You ask Cuffy this.
Now, baby, do you want to give your real name or no?
Yeah, you give my real name. I don't got nothing to hide.
All right, what's your real name?
I got Sammy Lee Jefferson Jr.
Sammy Lee Jefferson Jr. out of Peabody Projects in St. Louis.
Louis, Missouri. Yeah, I have nothing to hide. I lived through a glass bottle.
And Sammy Lee Jefferson Jr.
Yes.
And you was on the she took the conversation that you had with her and took it back to the DEA in St. Louis?
Yeah, she took it back to the DEA in St. Louis to the handler of their case, and they denied Cuffy bond and gave it to the judge, saying, this guy who's contacted Tammy, we feel like he.
So he actually was in contact with Tammy Cowens to this dude, This is different right here.
He's a threat. He's an enforcer. We don't want to give Cuffy a bond because we feel like Cuffy and Baby, Sammy Lee Jefferson Jr., will have some done to Tammy Cowens. And from that point on, me and Tammy stopped communicating. But she was still going to, that's why I got mad at Meech, because he was still allowing Tammy to come see him and everything.
What year is this? What year is this, Baby?
I was in Beaumont in 2000.
That's different.
17, 18.
In 2017, 2018, she is still in touch with Meech.
Yeah, she's still in touch with Meech. That's why I got mad at Meech. That's why I got mad at me.
Coming to see him and shit. That's different. That's different.
When I was in Beaumont.
Did you confront Meech about that in any way?
Yeah, I confronted Meech about it.
On the phone or in mail or what?
I confronted Meech about it through telephone. And we had our way of talking through telephone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I confronted him about it. He said that, there's no validity to it. He downplayed everything. I just confronted Meech not too long ago on the phone with 42 Doug and Meech and myself on a three-way. And
42 Doug.
audio will be dropping real soon.
Now, baby.
42 Dougie Doug, da.
They saying Cuff is, they saying Cuff is a rat. They're trying to spin the narrative, because everybody, Meech is. Do you think Meech's paperwork is sufficient, man?
No, Meech bogus, bro. Like, I'm not gonna sit there. T, if you was to get T a personal relation with T, that's his brother. But he not just gonna go out pushing that on his brother. But if you was to sit down with T, would tell you, Meech did what he did. You know what I'm saying? Because if he didn't, T would be speaking up for him. That's his brother. That's his big brother.
That's a good point. What did he do? What did he do, baby? What do you? Let's get to it, man. What do you think Meech did? What
he said? Southwest team is speaking up for him. What did he do?
What did he do, man?
He used Tammy to be the rat to get him out, and he can hide everything. He didn't want his name to come up in nothing. Tammy, and they thought that everything was just gonna go smooth, but by Cuff being a gangster and bucking on everything and willing to go to trial and willing to do this and willing to do that, all this stuff started coming out on what it really was about. Bro, you gotta think, Meech and them went down in 05, okay? I'm just gonna put it all out there. They went down in 05. Meech still stayed in the county jail for 2 or 3 years, right? So that's why 08 or 09, that they were shipped to the BOP, to the Bureau of Prisons. Why was Meech back in Wayne County Jail in Michigan? Why was he back? He was not on appeal. Why was he back down there with Swarwares now? Why was he back in the county jail to meet anybody? Why was he back? He had no appeal, no reason to be back in the county jail. Why was he back? All you gotta do is go look at the records. Go pull the records. Why was he back? T wasn't back down there. Because if Meech get back for whatever reason, T get back for whatever reason. Why was Meech back in Wayne County Jail?
In what year?
12 and 13. Go look at the records.
In 2012, 2000. What do you think the reason was, baby?
Because he was cooperating. He didn't have no appeal in it. The courts and the marshals are not calling you back for nothing just to come sit in the county jail, bro. When you get sentenced to do your time, you go do your time.
That's it. Right.
Only reason you come back is a court order.
Right.
To be back in the county jail, you're going to get back on appeal. or you're going to testify, either to help somebody or to hurt somebody. That's it. He had no reason to be like down there. Who was he helping?
Let me ask you this, baby. Now, in the affidavit, Meech is on Cuffy's case as an unindicted co-conspirator.
There you go, right there.
Shouldn't he, if that affidavit is correct, which everybody says it is, the initial one that was done in 2012 before Tammy was exposed, it's in that affidavit that Demetrius Flannery asked Tammy to connect Suarez and Cuffy. Now, doesn't that in and of itself make him a part of the conspiracy?
That make him a part of the conspiracy right there.
And that should be on the minimum, it should be a dime, right?
On the minimum, you should be charged. Fuck a dime. You should just be charged, and then you fight it from there. It tells you right there, it's self-explanatory. But Meech wanted everything to his name not to come up. But I don't have I love Meech at one point in time. I idolized this dude at one point in time. I don't have no reason to sit up here and say, oh, I want to go against Meech. I'm not no hoe-ass nigga. I ain't no nigga that do no big shit. But what I am going to do, I'm going to keep a spade a spade. Meech is dead wrong. You know he dead wrong. Why do you think Meech still haven't came out and said nothing about Tammy thus far?
Well,
you know, if he go on anything, say anything bad about Tammy, Tammy got the keys to put him to rest while he's alive. She would make his tombstone while he's alive. That's why he ain't never came. Like, I ain't tell this bitch to do that. I ain't do that. Fuck that bitch. But bitch, you shouldn't. He ain't did none of that. But you say you a gangster.
Yeah, but
a real nigga.
But baby, they gonna say, and this very well could maybe be the case that the conditions of his paper, his probation, maybe it's stipulated in there that he can't give any interviews or speak on anything related to BMF. You that may be the case, and that they could.
Hold up. Initially, before he went bad, that wasn't a stipulation. That's public record, man. Freedom of Information Act. You go get his plea agreement and all this stuff. This is public record. And you can see what the initial agreement was. You can go get transcripts. You can pay for the transcripts. You can yourself. And you can see what the judge said in court, what he can and cannot do. That's what I'm trying to tell everybody. I'm trying to tell the world. All this everybody's guessing. These is public record. You can get the transcripts. Okay, it happened back in 2008. They still got a file of that. You can pay for that file.
Yeah, that's probably. You think that's on Pacer?
If it ain't on, but you can pay for it. Even if it ain't on paper, the transcript's not gonna be on Pacer. But the courts can print those transcripts. It's still documented.
Okay.
The courts can still print. You can go down there and give them the case number. Say you want the plea agreement transcripts, you want the sentencing transcript, you want any hearing transcripts. You can still got it. It's still on file.
All right. Now, baby, listen, this is what they're going to do in the comment section on YouTube. When I post this video, they're going to say, Bebe is a nobody. Bebe is a flunky for Cuffy. Meech probably don't even know Bebe. Bebe is, he's just a piece of shit in jail, speaking on some shit he don't know. He don't really know Meech. They're going to do everything in the comment section to try to disqualify what you saying on this interview. What do you got to say to that if they come at you like that, or us like that, me and you?
They can come at me like whoever. The world know, the people know who I am. Meech know who I am. She know who I am. Everybody that was part of the family know who I am.
Blue so, Da Vinci, Blue know who you is?
Call Blue and ask Blue who I am. That's all you got to do. Blue, who is Bebe? Blue gonna tip his hat off to me. I'm not one of them. I'm me. I'm not one of them that want to pretend to be nothing who I ain't.
All right. Now, baby, check it out.
You know who I am.
Check it out. There seems to be no actual 5K1. There seems to be no actual Rule 35B. no safety valve, no proffer agreement tied to Meech, and that's what the people want to see. But from his paperwork, does that still fly? The fact that none of that stuff is in there?
It's hidden. It's sealed. Listen, it's hidden and it's sealed. But all you got to do is do mathematics, right? And all you got to do is see and ask Meech one thing. Why didn't you go help Cuff when they sent you those after they subpoenaed you, sent you those affidavits? Why did you take those affidavits to help Cuff out if it's your man? That's it. That's all.
That's
you
the
my
question.
man, and I can help you get out of jail. I help you get out of position, any position that you're in. And I know I don't play no part. I'm coming to help you. We're real street niggas. Like, we help each other get money. We've been eating together. We've been in shootouts together. We've got shot together. Why wouldn't I come do this for you? And I'm a real nigga. I'm the United States new Frank Lucas. That's exactly what he is. New Frank Lucas.
Now, baby, that's an interesting
that's
point
a little
you made,
hated.
that you feel as though Meech can't.
That's the question.
Make no kind of derogatory statement about Tammy publicly because what?
She gonna fuck him up. If he try to fuck her up, her character up, she gonna eat him alive. You know what I'm saying? Tammy gonna eat him alive, man. I didn't talk to Tammy personally. Meech put me with Tammy. So nobody can ever say I'm a nobody, I'm not this. Meech, why would you put me with your main hitter? The motherfucker who you got running this, that, and third. I've been around Meech since I was a kid. I slept in the same house when they first bought that White House with no furniture. We sleeping on blow-up mattresses, everything. I've been around them as a kid. And I can go into other things in detail, but I'm not going to go into it.
Right.
So I'm not going to sit up here and try to please the public. I know who I am. They know who I am. People know who I am. Meech know that he's wrong.
Now, baby, they say Cuff a rat, man. They say Cuff ain't no good. He only got 27 years and he had 2 joints, and you know what I'm saying? He ain't no good. Sean, why you don't look into his paperwork? You know, but I told niggas, I said, man, if y'all find anything on Cuff that ain't right, send it to me. Nobody sent me nothing yet.
They're not gonna say it's nothing on Cuff to say it right. Just because people saying that because everybody don't know Cuffy. Only St. Louis people know Cuffy. Cuffy ran St. Louis. Meech had a few cities in the chokehold, and to be honest with you, he has the United States in the chokehold. So everybody in the U.S. know who Big Meech is as far as who is the drug dealer, this, that, and the third. They don't know no Cuffy. They're not gonna side with Cuffy. They don't even give a fuck. Like, listen, you gotta understand this, Sean. In today's world, even back in the day, our people, for us black people, you know what I'm saying? Asiatic people, they love to follow. They'll follow anything that they think is leading them in the right direction. Nobody's gonna check and see, okay, this guy we follow, is he really who he say he is? They just want to be a part of what's trending. And that's what's going on right now. So everybody don't know. If it wasn't for 50 Cent, Sean, nobody, that concert wouldn't have been canceled. Them rappers and all them little dudes, you know.
They was going. They were going
to go because all they know from them being kids, Big Meech. He took Atlanta by storm. He took over the whole entertainment industry with how he moved. You know what I'm saying? He let the money talk for him. And that's all people know. But they not looking at the realness. If 50 Cent wouldn't have never came out and say, oh, man, this nigga rap, this nigga did this, man, they was going to that concert. Me and 42 Doug argued on the phone. He called Meech on a 3-way. You know what I'm saying? He didn't believe it because they so fan out about Meech. And I take nothing from them for that. If you don't know, you don't know. But you can't say you a street nigga and you will say this about another nigga and you rapping about this, that, and the third, but then you gonna still ignore the fact, okay, this Big Meech, so it don't count for him.
Right.
Fuck no, it don't go like that.
Hey, baby, what kind of nigga was Cuffy in St. Louis, man, as far as respect level across the city?
100, man. Cuffy is a real dangerous, treacherous, honorable dude. And I'm not saying this because he's my big homie and I call him my uncle for my neighborhood. Our city will speak for that. Like, Cuff was about his business. Cuff was doing shit that niggas just not doing. And Cuff got to be almost down to 60 right now, 57, 58. I don't know the quite age, but Cuff been doing all this crazy shit. Like, Cuff.
Damn.
I remember one time the feds took a Benz from Cuff. He bought a Benz from Plaza Motors, and they pulled him over as soon as he came off the lot. And they took the Benz. They confiscated the Benz from him, right? I had to be like 11 or 12. It's a story, but it's a real story. He turned right back around the next day and went and bought another one. Like he was one of them dudes. He is that dude out the city. I'll take nothing from him.
Listen, I've heard.
And he ain't no hope. He ain't no hope out far. Like, niggas ain't gonna play with him. He gonna get busy.
I've heard nothing. I've heard nothing. No kind of stains or nothing on this man. Every time I talk to somebody from the Boogie, East St. Boogie, or the St. Lou, it's like it's money, man. His name is money, man.
He good people, man. He's silk. He good money, man. He good money. And I'm not, like I said, again, if it was Cuff in this predicament, and I had the proof, and I was aware like I am now on everything, I was a part of everything the same way I'm a part of this, I would let Cuff have it. Because, nigga, y'all taught me the game. You know what I'm saying? Me was like, whatever you do, if you ever get locked up, don't tell. We got your back. We gonna get you lawyers. Your people's gonna be straight. That's how we move. But then you turn around and do the unthinkable. You use the third party cooperator to get another motherfucker to clear your name. Man, if that case wasn't tainted the way it was with Tammy screwing that DA agent or prosecutor, whoever she was screwing, and fucking, like, everything when it came out, the Cuff was going all the way. So they shut that down. Okay, yeah, we ain't gonna deal with that. But we still got you, for the body or whatever the fuck they charged him with, but they washed that away. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's still derived from what Meech did, what him and Tammy did with the whole hookup situation. So, we're going to drop that. You ain't got to worry about that. But we still got you with this right here.
Right.
But the whole investigation stemmed from what she did, what her and Meech did.
Right.
And Meech, that girl continued to come see Meech all these years. They never cut the communication off or none of that.
So now, So I'm glad you made that point. So Cuffy gets pinched in 2013. All of the calls and the wiretaps is in 2012. And you saying even after 2013, Tammy and Meech stayed in contact after Cuffy told him what it was.
Yeah, after they told even after I checked her and told her that I knew this, that, and the third, she was still going to see me. She told me that week she's about to go see him out in Furlong or somewhere in California. She's about to go see him. I don't know if it's Long Pop or Furlong. That's when I stopped speaking. That was my last conversation with her. She was on my visit list and everything. Meech tied me to Tammy.
Wow.
As being a good person. Meech, he can't dispute this because guess what? If Meech was trying to dispute this, all you got to do is pull the BOP records from my visit list and everything, and my phone number's on my list, and see that I was in contact with Tammy through him. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to keep it real with you. Like, that was Blue Bitch. Tammy was Blue Bitch.
Right.
That's it. But
Tammy was so infatuated with Meech. Jeezy was even trying to fuck her. She did she dated Jeezy. She wouldn't fuck with Jeezy or none of that shit. That was Blue Bitch, but she wanted Meech so bad. Like, she was like infatuated with Meech. That's why she's doing what she did. She wanted to get Meech out and just live behind the brand.
Jeezy's a lame. They try to think Jeezy's a lame.
Definitely, man. Definitely.
She's smart and she's crafty, man. And her whole thing was like, if I get him out, we can live the best world ever.
Why do you think things went went bad for them, baby, where he went one way and she went the other way and shit then fell apart?
Because Cuff was willing to go all the way out. He was willing to put his nuts on the line and get killed about everything that's going on. He wanted to bring some insight to what everything's going on. So it kind of made things go sour because Meech probably looking at it like, okay, as long as my name's protected, now come on, Cuff gonna take a plea. Cuff ain't gonna have these hearings and file motions and do all this.
Cuffy went all the way with that shit, man.
And that's Meech wasn't thinking that.
Cuffy went all the way, man. Spent crazy money on the amount of papers that I read, man, and I know how them lawyers charge, man. Cuffy was like, fuck it, we going all the way, kid.
Cuff just got one of my lawyers that I used on my case right now. Madame Glossman, he's out of Chicago. They got him ranked the 40th best lawyer in the United States. You can look it up. Madame Glossman out of Chicago, Illinois. When Cuff found out I got him, and he won a lot of cases in trial, and he really fight. Cuff was like, hey, nephew, what's up with the dude? I said, man, he gonna fight. He wanted him. He said, well, tell him I want him to do some shit on my appeal. Cuff ended up hiring him on this appeal, too. Madame Glossman, man, out of Chicago, Illinois. He really fights.
Now, baby, thank you for answering that question for me. But what I was really asking you was, what do you think went wrong with Meech and Tammy, like in the last 6 months to a year, to where she ran with 50 and he ran with Rick Ross, and it looks like they can't be on the same page no more in terms of Tammy and Meech?
I'm gonna say this honestly. Rick Ross have a motive because him and 50 beefing, so he want to come and throw money around or get acquainted with Meech. But Rick Ross throw names around all the time. Like that's how he get his popularity. Like he really fuck with dudes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But Tammy, on the other end, like I say, bro, she's crafty. She's smart. She knows 50 have all these fucking ties to these networks. So she's doing her due diligence. She's doing her part of trying to milk the situation. You know what I'm saying? But knowing that Rick Ross gonna reach out to Meech and Meech gonna take a picture with him, that shit set fire up under 50 Cent ass.
Right.
Oh, what? You been disloyal, nigga. I've been helping you do this. I've been helping you.
He said, listen, bro. For real, we gonna say Meech tour right, no matter that's the third party has to do with it, and it's negotiated for the cut or for Big Real. They said the third party corroboration is not accurate.
You do that, you and your son, and you taking a picture with this fat motherfucker. So that brought a distinction between them, and now they running with it. But like at the end of the day, all this shit that Rick Ross talking about, he gonna do a movie deal, and you can't do nothing without 50. He got the rights to all that.
Good. Next question. I'm glad you brought that up. Why would an individual, why would me, Sean G, why would I just freely give my rights to my life to another human being for nothing, for free?
That's $1 billion question. We're going to speak millions right now.
But how does Tammy get Meech's life rights for absolutely nothing in return?
Because she told him, I'm going to get you out of jail by all costs, and we're going to get this money. That's why. That's it, and that's all.
All right. Hey.
Like, Tammy has nothing to offer me. She can't give him no motherfucking advance. But what she did promise him, I'm going to get you out of jail, and we're going to live the motherfucking better life after all. Trust me when I tell you this. And he knew it. Man, can't nobody go and cooperate for me without me co-signing.
Say that again. There you go. That's what I want to hear. Listen, baby, a woman I done dealt with, not near woman in my life, and I done dealt with a lot of women, can go rent a skateboard for me in my name without my permission, man.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. And nobody could come and say, my wife, I got a wife, She can't even go, and my wife is indicted on my case right now, but she can't even get home and say, well, I want to work to get my husband out. The prosecuting here is like, well, what do Baby got to say about this? Do he give you the consent to do this? We got to make sure he giving you the consent to do this. They just can't do that without our permission. Nobody can do it. Just like you going to get a car in my name without my permission.
Thank you. Thank you.
Everything in the federal system and anywhere is contract law. Contract law is so motherfucking keen. It's crazy. We can't do this and do that without the other one co-signing on it.
Yeah.
And that's what the whole world failed to realize, because everybody just looking at it like, oh, this is the biggest drug dealer in the world.
Hey, that's a dude that was on Southwest T's case, the data. You know what I'm saying? She'll trick you too. We understand that she's lying. We understand that she's lying, Gigi. We understand that she's lying. The data is not about tricking people. The data, we understand the data. We understand the shit. The data, we understand what she's doing. They said Tammy's a liar. The data.
But all the defense attorneys are working together to achieve the same end, which is to, get the motion to suppress the wiretaps thrown out, right? Because of bad information, illegal or erroneous or falsified information by people that are in the affidavit, namely Tammy Cowens, and up to that point, Keith Cromer. So right off the bat, and I want y'all to stay with me, man. I want y'all to listen to what I'm saying, right? Because Tammy Cowens, man. Tammy Cowens, man. Yo. All right, let's get into it.
What the fuck?
All right, Mr. Harvey. This is Mr. Herman. You never had a personal relationship with CS1, didn't you? CS1 is Tammy Cowens. Jack Harvey, no. Herman, you never hugged and kissed her? Jack Harvey, no. Herman, you never had sex with her, obviously. Jack Harvey, no. Herman, all right. But you found after she called you at some point upset, you were made aware that that kind of unprofessional conduct was occurring between Tammy Cowens and Keith Cromer, did you not? Jack Harvey, listen. Yes, that's what she told me. Tammy Cowens. Yes, that's what she told me.
Oh, that's what he could say anything.
And tell the court, how did, when this first was reported to you, Jack Harvey? It was first reported to me on approximately May the 10th. No, it was exactly May the 10th, 2014. And then Herman asked, how did she tell you that the relationship began? Yes, it was way long ago, back in, I think it began in 2011. And I think it was over with, according to her, by the beginning of 2013. So Jack Harvey, listen, Jack Harvey on the stand, a former DEA agent, is on the stand saying that Tammy Cowens, out her mouth, said she had an inappropriate sexual relationship with Keith Cromer. Tammy said, which we've already seen in prior videos that I've done on the stand, being caught in lies, perjuring herself, right? We've already seen Tammy Cowens make statements in an affidavit going back to 2012 or whenever those affidavits were written, stating clear facts before she is exposed, when don't nobody know who she is, she's making these statements, right? In affidavits that's used to get the motion for wiretaps. And in these statements, going back 2012, this is when she expressly states that Demetrius Flannery put her in contact, told her to get in contact with Suarez and Cuffy to do a large drug transaction. She says it twice, I think on page 11 and page 12 in that motion to suppress. September 2011 is one, and I think the other one is, what was the other one? Maybe August 2012, something to that effect, okay? Now, everything that Jack...
Nah, this dude be flip-flopping a lot, da-da. I don't know if he's reading it for the first time with us, da-da. He ain't doing his homework, da-da, but da-da. One day, da-da, he's saying he's not. One day he is. One day he's not. One day he is, da-da. One day, like, bro, you gotta stay more righteous than ever, bro. Because you're the one affirming the shit. You're the one that's saying, oh, yeah, this is what it is. Like, then you said, oh, nah, he's not. That's what came out your mouth. You ain't saying this person's saying this. Like, you actually trying to understand shit, da-da. You understand shit, da-da. Shit's crazy, done.
Harvey says most of the things that he's going to say, he's always going to lead it out with, she said. Tammy Cowens said. Tammy Cowens told me this. Tammy Cowens said that. Then Tammy Cowens said.
Yeah, I see y'all going back and forth, da-da. I see y'all going back and forth in the comments, da-da. If y'all want to come up here, da-da, y'all could come up here, da-da. I could get you the link, da-da. You could come up here, da-da. You could say your words, da-da. You could speak your positivity or speak whatever you want to speak, da-da. You heard? Let us know, da-da. You can set your narrative.
Said this, right? And it's going to go in here that he's out of contact with her for, I think, a couple of years, 2 years, but stay with me. Jack Harvey just said, and then let me pause, right? So she has these statements that she's making when she's not exposed, and then immediately when she gets exposed that she is CS1, that she is the informant, then all of her statements change. She changes her whole story, right? Stay with me. Did she tell you when that personal relationship had begun? Jack Harvey, yes. It was way long ago. Back in, I think it began in 2011. And I think it was over with, according to her, by the beginning of 2003. Now, 2003 is when, I'm gonna pull the video up for you. Hold on. When I did the phone interview with Cuffy, this is when Cuffy, I'm gonna let Cuffy tell you. Everything that we're discussing.
Cuffy already told us, bro.
You and Meech was damn.
Cuffy already told us, da-da. Let's get right.
You're different from.
We know that finding high quality food.
We already know what's going on, da-da. You on some bullshit, bro. Like, let's get right, bro.
The agents, yo, this fucking bitch. I thought she was just flattering me. And I said, you can trust every agent, you know, as long as there's always two agents. You shouldn't be alone with one agent ever. And that was that. We talked for a long time, but she didn't go into further details. And it was 16 months or 15 months later when she finally opened up about the relationship. So what Tammy Cowens is doing is, to me, it seems that she's testing the waters with Jack Harvey. But she know Jack Harvey straight up and down like 6 o'clock, or has been with her, because that's Luna, yo. She worked with him in the Terry White case, so she know how he get down. Herman, and you became aware during the period she was having an intimate relationship with Agent Chroma.
Saying, bro?
She also lied to supervisory officers who questioned her about that at Chroma's suggestion, correct? Yeah. I mean, technically, I don't know if they are supervisory. They are inspectors. Herman, inspectors? That's correct. So what Herman is saying, because she lied again. When she went and had her interview, remember we dealt with that in an old video? When she went and met with the OIG, the Office of Inspector General, she went in there, Tammy Cowens went in there, and she said that Keith Chroma told her to say this and told her to say that. Remember when I did that video? You remember when I did that video? Keith Chroma told me to not tell y'all about the relationship. He told me to tell y'all this. So everything from out of Tammy Cowens' mouth
is a lie. All right, we've been knew that, Dada. Like, we've been knew that. And everything out of your mouth, Dada, seemed a little type, I don't know, in the wrong directions. Even Technology Jake didn't even mention it. Technology Jake didn't want to say it, Dada. Technology Jake didn't say nothing.
My dad was calling me from jail every day. He was like, man, what you gonna do? Like, shit, I don't know. I always knew I wanted to be my own person. It's just hard, you know, to live up to my dad's name. And he called me one day. He's like, man, they looking at Terrence Howard and Nipsey Hussle. And I don't know if you're going to be able to play me, but you got to go to acting class so you can get ready. So I met 50. 50 put me in acting classes for 2 years in L.A., invested in me, paid for the acting class. I had to go every day, two times a day, 5 days a week. In the morning, in the afternoon, come back home, study again, do the same thing the next day. My dad looked out for a lot of people, and 50 ain't do half. Like 50 literally looked out for my dad more than people that my dad gave millions to.
Y'all gotta watch out for people like Lil Meech, man, because he ain't supposed to go against his pops. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, like if you don't have nothing to do with it, like you shouldn't go against the person who changed your life. Like your daddy, he went out of your life because he was worried about himself. So at the end of the day, when you grow up and you got the power to change your own life the way you did and linked up with 50 and all this, that, and the third, you don't go take a picture, Lil Meech. You don't go take a picture with Floyd.
You can't say that shit, Dada, because 50 Cent don't fuck with his own son, Dada. So who the fuck is this fucking?
He did Rick Ross. Like, what are you doing?
I'm going to educate you on something. Little Meech don't know shit. He was 5 years old when his daddy went to jail. He didn't grow up like that. He the same Chaz nigga who snitched at the airport and told him he's a good kid. I go to private school and watch the snitching he does. My daddy's like Pablo Escobar. It ain't my gun, it's their gun. Little Meech is just that. He's a fucking actor. He's a good for you to sit down with But all he can talk about is what happened from the day he met 50 and the day he text 50 and called Ross a bitch, and why his bitch ass is standing on the side of Ross in the club after the fact.
Whack.
That's all he can talk about.
You are so f***ed up, man.
50 Cent marches on with his diabolical plan to expose Big Meech as a federal cooperant in retaliation for him standing next to his op, Rick Ross, man. So it looks like he's done tapped in with 1090 Jake, man. We already know 1090 Jake is known for exposing people in the music industry for being rats. So it looks like 50 Cent is building a team around him, just like Big Meech and Lil Meech done tapped in with Floyd Mayweather. And it looks like we might have a paperwork war going on very soon, man. It is interesting. I'm gonna let y'all get to it. Shout out to Whack 100. Shout out to DJ Academics. This is Getty Radio. Let's go.
That's different.
Look at your text.
You ain't sent me that. You sent me some old shit. Whack, your phone. Oh, never mind. You didn't send me this. Okay. So it says.
Come on, man.
So it says, he says, Tammy Cowins, the truth, nothing but the truth, coming soon. He says 1090 Jake tomorrow. Got that paperwork. You know the vibes. Whack, why did you set up Big Meech like that? You got something against, he from Detroit, right? You got something against Detroit. What's wrong with you?
No, I have my family from Detroit. He's from course. I have my family from Detroit.
1090 Jake didn't even say nothing, the Dada. What the fuck that 1090 Jake, that shit was the worst, the Dada. What the fuck that 1090 Jake told us, the Dada? Not a damn thing. The fuck? Like, man, shit about 50 Cent him be like, come on, he didn't want to stamp nothing, the Dada.
But at the end of the day.
Yo, I gotta talk to 1090 Jake. What? Y'all not supposed to help 50 expose him? First of all, Whack, you created this bullshit called third-party cooperating.
I don't like drug dealers, Act. He's a fucking drug dealer, and he hurt our community. He hurt our community, and people are running around here applauding this dude, trying to influence our youth to deal drugs like him. We need to clean up the streets and rid the streets of drug dealers. No more celebrating dudes who did 20, 30 years for fucking making mothers deliver crack babies. No, we're not.
But you want people, the Dada, to celebrate you, the Dada, because you did your time, the Dada, and you did your time, and you come from like that. Dude, you always talk about you doing time, the Dada, and fighting, squabbling. Like, come on, bro. You just be talking some crazy shit, the Dada. You don't mean nothing you say, bro.
Can't afford anymore.
Okay,
GG, this dude's different.
Okay, could you at least stand up to 50? Keep calling him Big Screech. We're not calling Big Meech Big Screech. We're calling Big Meech BMF. That's like, yo, you ever heard BMF by Rick Ross blowing money fast? Oh, I was turning up to that shit. Stop playing.
Bro, listen to me, bro. We know who Big Meech is, right? Big Meech, that's the game. Waist deep.
Yeah.
Incredible movie, right? Now, what I'm telling you is we got to go to Screech because these Negro, I think Drake can influence them. They want to sue you.
Whoa. What you mean? There's no Big Screech. There's nothing.
It's Big Screech.
What do you mean? What do you just, Whack, stop it. Like, Whack, you're trolling now. See? You're trolling.
What do you mean, bro?
Who's Big Screech?
Big Screech is the dude that did 19 years.
What? That's another dude?
Yeah. Little Meech's dad.
No. Little Meech's dad is Big Meech. Blowing money fast.
Yo, bro, listen. This all I'm telling you is the worst is yet to come. What's going to happen when Tammy sits down and a surviving R. Kelly set, right? Hair done, makeup done, right? Everything is in place, and she starts to press play and puts.
Can I ask you a question? I got a legit question.
What's gonna happen?
No, hold on. I got a legit question for you because I gotta ask it for everybody else who's gonna be in the situation. If a nigga is in Big Meech's position, because I blame all this on you, how much they gotta pay you for you to shut the fuck up about him? Because that's really what it's coming down to. Whack, you don't sow the seeds, and now 50 a nigga who's reaping the seeds, everything fucked up. How much would you need for someone to ignore whatever circumstance?
Now they trying to
cozy drink
niggas.
Is good.
Yo, that's one thing this nigga goes to. Now they trying to start niggas.
Meech fully told or whatever, but like you sow the seeds that everybody's like exploiting. How much if Big Meech just said, yo, Whack, yo, I give you 10% of this shit, would you have shut the fuck up? Be honest.
The truth could never be considered disrespect.
No, stop it, Whack. If he gave you 10% of the BMF Life Rights Empire, would you have shut up and not? Because we heard this from you.
What?
The world heard it from 50,
happened.
but I heard this from you. I remember when you said this, I said, yo, how come Whack knows everybody told? This don't make sense.
Hey, listen, man. It's not my fault, bro. Look, I think Big Screech should just stand on what he did, right? He should stand on what he did and continue his life, bro. Fuck it, he's 50-something. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing. Nobody's gonna do anything, bro.
Whack, he lost probably hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars because of that.
Bro, what you think he gonna lose when people see the other talent he did?
He didn't do no fucking other. Yo, Whack, you gotta stop this shit.
You wanna bet? What we bet? Let's put a bet.
How much you wanna bet?
Yeah, you wanna bet? We can bet whatever. It ain't gotta be money. It can be whatever you wanna bet.
Okay.
I guarantee
right,
you,
hold on.
Tammy
Wait.
Tammy's going to expose more than the Cuffy situation. Remember, she's a third-party cooperant. This is when it's going to get crazy. When she sits down there and says, yeah, Big A out of Alabama.
Tammy ain't exposing shit, and why the fuck are you over here, like amping the whole situation up if you know she's not exposing shit, like she can't expose shit, because everything's paperwork, so all the paperwork is there, so I don't think, let's see if the documentary comes out. If it comes out, then it's gonna come out, GG. But, you know, I mean, if it comes out, it's gonna come out. But for now, we don't see it coming out.
Yeah, he put me on him, but I gave the fans information, and he's sitting in there like, hold up, that's how they got on me? When she started the name.
Whack, are you down to bet 100,000?
Whatever you want to bet. You saying Tammy's not going to expose him. That's what you saying.
She might expose him, but he ain't did no other telling other than what?
Other than Cuffy.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. All right, cool.
All right,
yeah.
That's a bet.
So you really down to bet 100,000 on that?
Yes. Hey, bro, remember this. Big Meech, Big Screech, he's not a gangster.
Whack.
He's a drug dealer.
Whack, be careful. He got some money now. From what I heard.
Bro, we all got it. You got more money than him. Listen.
You sure?
That's a fact.
They said he had all type of Maybachs that used to park next to Jay-Z's Maybach to try to
Yeah, okay. All right, that's cool. I know that he had 20 years ago. They got to do it today.
You never
right? 20 years ago, he was parking them by Jay-Z. Today, he don't know where Jay-Z at to even stand by him. A lot has changed. Right? So what I'm telling you is this, bro. Tammy, trust me, they were making money too off this shit.
You see? More hate. You see? More hate, 20 years ago, he was parking Jay-Z now. They hate like these rappers. They don't like these gangsters, because they rappers, and these dudes is actually, you know what I'm saying? Then they actually hit.
Shit. When she sits down, she's gonna expose at least 3-4 different situations minimum that we didn't know about. That this man fed her the information to feed to the government. Watch.
All right, man. You know nobody knew the word or the phrase. You made this up. Like you're gonna admit to some shit today. Third party cooperate. Nobody ever heard of that shit before. Whack, stop laughing. So you fucked up Little Meech situation, and you fucked up Big Meech. So
no,
Rick Ross is second.
No,
you
Little Meech his own situation.
You fucked it up. Wait, Whack. Why did you? A man coming home from 19 years in prison. Why you gotta bring shit into it talking about he's a cooperator, third?
Because we want to celebrate that man for what he is, right? If a nigga did 19 years solid, standing on his 10 and didn't do no punk shit, we want to give him the proper celebration. If a nigga did some motherfucking telling and cooperating, we want to give him the proper exposing. His celebration is gonna be an exposing celebration.
Whack.
You can't celebrate both for the same shit, bro.
You know me and Lil Meech about to have a conversation, right?
Yeah, and you know that your conversation with Little. Listen, I'm gonna educate you on something. Little Meech don't know shit He was 5 years old when his daddy went to jail. He didn't grow up like that. He the same ass nigga who snitched at the airport and told him he's a good kid. I go to private school and watch the snitching he does. My daddy's like Pablo Escobar. It ain't my gun, it's their gun. Little Meech is just that. He's a fucking actor. He's a good for you to sit down with, but all he can talk about is what happened from the day he met 50 and the day he texted 50 and called Ross a bitch, and why his bitch ass is standing on the side of Ross in the club after the fact.
Wax.
That's all he can talk about.
You are so fucked up, man. Yeah, you fucked up their whole family. Lil Meech, he was getting money. His dad was about to go get some money. And now, yo, I'm gonna be honest with you, 50 don't get none of that. If it wasn't for you, you fucked up that whole family legacy. And I think, yo,
Wax, you saying because I put the content up there. You really think
but
that 50 Cent,
that's not what's going on.
Yayo, and Uncle Murder, you think they pay attention to what I do? I don't think they pay attention.
So real shit, I'm gonna let you know this. Actually, they're not fucking up the legacy, because these niggas fighting back, They actually fighting back. So 50 Cent comes out with that Tammy Cowins documentary. Shit, it is what it is. So that comes out, or Cuffy, you know what I'm saying? But that's what we gotta, you know what I'm saying? Other than that, what can we? It's a bunch of speculation,
It's nothing I do or say.
All right, we're going to leave it right there. Y'all let me know what y'all think.
That's different. So we need if 50 don't come out with the Tammy Cowens, which you know what I'm saying, most likely he's not.
I get millions to
y'all. Dion Cuffy Gatlin is out here talking, and it's getting real messy. This time, he's exposing Big Meech and Young Buck's substance connections, and let's just say it ain't looking good for Buck at all. And when you really think about it, this actually explains why Buck was out here caping so hard for Meech when 50 Cent was trolling him. It's because they're all rats, and y'all know Fitty always has the receipts.
Shout out to Big Meech. Welcome home. Quit playing with dude. Quit playing with dude. You know, I'm gonna say that much.
Let's take it back to the old days when Young Buck and Big Meech were balling out of control. Fast cars, crazy money, big time parties. They were living that BMF lifestyle for real. Even Tony Yayo, who y'all know has been Fitty's right-hand man forever, said those days were wild.
Well, you had said that Young Buck was actually hanging out with BMF a lot.
Yeah, Young Buck, Spider Low, they was hanging out with Meech and them, you know, a lot.
Yayo talked about how people would go broke just trying to keep up with Meech and the way he spent money. And guess who got caught up in that lifestyle and picked up some of those spending habits? Yep, Young Buck. He was out here stunting, blowing through cash like there was no tomorrow. But we all saw how that turned out. Buck eventually went broke, and that's when 50 finally cut him loose. And yeah, part of it was the money, but let's not act like those trans women rumors didn't play a role too.
I couldn't hang out with them. There's too much money you got to spend hanging with them motherfuckers.
The family feuds. What's better than one?
If Big Meech doesn't end the family feud and start doing some business with his brother again real fast. All right, so let's get into it. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and check out this quick overview of the sibling rivalry between Big Meech and Terry, and then I'll catch you on the other side to let you know what's really going on between 50, BMF, and Big Meech.
Bullet up selector. Bullet up selector.
Old niggas, y'all stop acting brand new like nobody.
Fleets at their beck and call. A direct line to limitless amounts of jewelry from the world famous trader, Jacob the Jeweler. In time, like all good things or things that seem to be good, the brothers were starting to be. At the organization's high point, Southwest T's meticulous control, and Big Meech's desire for wanting to be seen as that dude, on top of sibling rivalry, caused a beef between two brothers that would lead to cracks appearing in the organization. People would talk behind closed doors, and some would choose sides. Later on, some would often recall the brothers' public spats over the smallest issues in interviews. Eventually, each brother's unwillingness to relinquish full control to the other caused an implosion, and with it, some dysfunction. The two brothers would come together like real businessmen and divide the empire they built on dreams, from being young and broke. T would relocate to Los Angeles to be closer to the Connect, according to the feds, and keep a closer eye on the business, while Meech would operate in Atlanta. The division resulted in people choosing who they wanted to rock with, the flamboyant Big Meech or the laid-back Southwest T.
When I met Terry and Big Meech, Terry had the most money. Like, far as like, just imagine two brothers, you know, this brother's up, this brother's up, this brother's up, this brother's up. At that time when I met him, T was like the guy that was up. Before they had differences, they was having differences about monies and different shit. Because Meech would go to Terry to get money. He would call Terry up, I need 100,000. He'll get it. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't understand that, but at that time I thought T was the boss.
And that kind of lead me to the next question I was going to ask you. You know, can you explain the difference between 263 and BMF? You know,
263. If you look at your phone, and you see 263, it'll spell BMF out. So instead of it being BMF, they had to change it to 263. The story behind that was one day out in California, Terry and his crew was out at Suge Knight's studio, and they were out hollering BMF. We had already knew Suge Knight, and Suge Knight knew us. So Suge Knight called in and was like, yo, called Meech and was like, yo, man, I got this guy over here, man. Oh, we keep saying he BMF, man. He's like, man, he's like, man, what you want us to do with these dudes? And then Meech was like, well, you know, describe the guy to me, man. He's a big guy. He said, yeah, big one-eyed dude, man, with a bunch of jewelry on. He said, man, that's my brother, man. He said, man, put him on the phone. So Suge put T on the phone, and Meech told him, look, man, y'all can't be using that name no more. So y'all gonna have to do something else, man. You know what I'm saying? And damn. So that's when they came 263. That's, you know, that was it, because they had fell out in Gardena. Right. You know, it fell out in Gardena one night.
And that was basically that was going to be my next question. You know, what caused the split? You know, between, you know, so what ended up happening with that?
It was a commercial back in the day that Mary J. Blige did a Coca-Cola commercial. She was in a Bentley Azure, a silver Bentley Azure. I don't know if y'all remember that. But she did this commercial, and Meech had just bought the car, had just bought the Azure. And T got furious when he found out about it. He wouldn't come to California. T was staying in Detroit. So he got furious when he found out about it. He flew out there and was pissed at Meech and pissed at Pops, Wayne Joyner. He was pissed at him because he felt as though they was doing something behind his back. But you know, he was like, this should have been me, and y'all got it, and you shouldn't have did this, and I'm the one that's supposed to did this, and that should have been my car in the commercial. And you know, one thing about the brothers that all the way to the end that lasted was sibling rivalry.
The case against Demetrius wasn't nearly as strong as it was against Terry. On The Wire, Terry was talking about Meech causing trouble for the whole family.
Alright. From the jump, we gonna get this right, Damn, they say it again, that your boy Terry, your boy Big Meech, your boy Terry's case was stronger than Big Meech's case, so that's just nuts.
Being intercepted by the DEA.
I never liked phones. He like to talk on the fucking phone. I don't do that. I'm not gonna be on the phone telling you to load this car and get these things down south. There's a big difference between me and T. I never wrote nothing down about nothing. No nicknames, no nothing. Anything written down was my brother. I can't point at the mistakes that brought me down because it brought me down on my brother's indictment. You know what I'm saying? He not the total blame, but the thing is, I didn't get caught for the things that I do, though. They couldn't prove that I was still a drug business. When you got a conspiracy from 1990 to 2005, you mean to tell me it took you 15 years to get another evidence to bring me down? That's unrealistic.
The day the trial was supposed to start, Demetrius and Terry requested face-to-face conversation for the first time in almost 2 years. But Terry and Demetrius began screaming at each other. Everyone in the courtroom could hear what was going on at that meeting.
Man, we got Big T on the phone line right now. T, what up, dude?
Hey, what up, though? How y'all doing out there?
We good. Southwest T Flattery. That's what I'm talking about right there, man. Now he is calling us right now. Let people know where you at, bro. Just keep it real. That's where you at right now.
I'm calling from Coleman Low Federal Facility, you know, right in the heart of Coleman, Florida.
Wow.
With a 30-year sentence hanging over my head.
That's real right there. Now, we're going to get down to these questions, all right?
Okay.
Everybody's familiar with BMF. Now, when was the last time you talked to your brother, Big Meech?
It's been about maybe 7 years, man.
Damn.
Talking to him personally, you know.
If Big Meech was out here and you was locked up, what would you tell him?
I would tell Big Meech if he was out there that life is too short to get caught up in the lifestyle we once chose, a route and a path we once went down that got me 30 years. If I had a chance to do it all over again, I would have chose the educational route and put the same energy and time into doing the right thing and uplifting people in the community so that we can be out there with our families and make a difference. Because as we get older, we start to see that if we don't encourage our people to go in the right direction.
But they said that you got it's your fault. They got caught up.
The backlash for doing something negative to cause all of us to just crash as a community, as a people.
All right, so as you can see, each one of the brothers is harboring a little animosity towards the other brother because Big Meech believes that it was Terry who brought the feds down on him because he was talking on the phone too much. But Terry believes that it was those big behind billboards that Big Meech put up all over Atlanta, including right behind one of the feds' offices. So whenever the feds pulled up to the job, they got the opportunity to look up and see a big behind billboard advertising BMF. Now, of course, just like former BMF member Dexter Sosa Hussey just explained, Mary handing out the Pepsis from the Bentley was simply one of the straws that broke the camel's back. But there were many other factors that made the brothers go their separate ways. For example, Terry used to like to cut his cocaine, which is why it was referred to as Moet on the streets. But Big Meech used to like to keep his cocaine pure, which is why people used to call it Cristal. Additionally, Terry grew very frustrated with Big Meech's flamboyant lifestyle and felt that Big Meech doing things like renting an entire commercial plane and flying 300 people, including Megan Good. Oh my goodness, Megan Good's been around, including Megan Good to Cancun.
So the Southwest Sea purposely took the picture with what Supreme Son to fuck up Big Meech and 50 Cent's relationship Like, is that what happened? Yo, this is crazy.
In addition to throwing a party where he rented out a whole entire zoo and brought the lions, tigers, and the elephants into the nightclub, brought unnecessary and unwanted attention to BMF.
The first time I met Big Meech, man, I was in the hood. Mom dude was selling dope, and he came in there, he dropped something off. I ain't know nothing about him. I just seen him. I was just like, just sitting there, seen him walk by, seen him do little couple things, little moves or whatever. And then the next time I seen him, I was on the plane. I was on the plane that everybody calls Soul Plane. You know what I'm saying? We took us down to Mexico. And he paid for me, Lil John, Eastside Boys, my mama, my sister, my whole crew, bodyguard, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? And I was sitting on the back of the plane, very back of the plane. I'm sitting down, and I had just looked back at my partner. I'm like, boy, we finna go to Cancun, nigga. Like, the fuck? Like, this is the first time me ever going out the country. Yeah. So I'm like, damn, boy, this shit finna go up, boy. So I look down, I see an ankle bracelet, like an ankle monitor. Yeah. I'm like, damn, nigga can go to Cancun with that shit. I ain't know who it was. I was just like, damn. So then nigga Baby D, shout out to Baby D, and nigga say, hey, Scrap, you know that Big Meech right here, Big Meech, it's Scrap. He turned around, he was like, oh, what's up, Scrap? I was like, what's up, Big Meech? I heard, you know what I mean? And then I seen, I was like, oh, that dude from the hood that came through a long time ago.
You hung out with BMF a lot when you were out there.
Yeah.
Man, what do you think was like your most memorable time out there hanging with him or?
Terry basically.
There's an endangered ecosystem.
Big Baby like that dude so.
263, while Big Meech kept the brand name BMF. Now, if you speak to anybody about the Flannery brothers, they'll tell you that they're better together than apart because they both have different strengths and they both have different weaknesses that they bring to the table. For example, Terry thinks long-term, whereas Big Meech enjoys immediate gratification because, as he once said, you can't take any of this stuff with you to the grave. And it's this difference between the brothers right here, which made it totally possible for 50 Cent to pull a plug on a concert that Rick Ross was trying to throw with Big Meech. Okay, so let me explain. When Big Meech was in prison, he signed over his life rights to Tammy Cowins. The reason why he did this is because, as an inmate, he wouldn't be able to get paid from the show. But by running the play through Tammy, he figured he could strike the deal with Stars, have Tammy pocket his dough, and then get it to him under the table. Now, when Tammy negotiated a deal with 50, he purchased the exclusive rights to Big Meech's story from Tammy. And one of the reasons we know that the deal was exclusive is because of the following letter that Big Meech wrote to 50 from prison. Big Meech wrote, "BMF for life, what's cracking? First, I must say Fifth and Randall. Given the success of your past creative collaborations on numerous feature films and particularly your television series Power, I feel that the two of you are the perfect team to tell my story. I haven't given no one permission to do any type of film on BMF or Big Meech, especially since we've been in agreement and under contract for a little more than 2 years. I would never give my consent, permission, or blessing to any film that's considered being done without me. I'm the only one that can tell a BMF and Big Meech story. So any person trying to do a film is 100% faking. Loyalty is not just a word, it's a lifestyle. Death before dishonor, much love and respect, the real Big Meech." Okay, so because Big Meech is used to doing things illegally, but 50 Cent is a businessman, this is where Big Meech cuffed up big. The first thing that 50 Cent went and did after receiving Big Meech's life rights from Tammy Cowins was copyright and trademark the name BMF. So you know what that means, don't you? It means that Rick Ross and Big Meech couldn't throw a BMF concert if they wanted to, Floyd Mayweather and Rick Ross can't make a BMF movie, and Big Meech couldn't even sell some BMF t-shirts without 50's permission.
That's fucking brutal, Dada. That's brutal. That's why they beefing, Dada. That's fucking brutal.
Even if he wanted to, because 50 owns the name BMF now.
Biggest boss Ricky Rose just got word. Meech concert not happening tonight, but 305 is going down at the office. Meet us there. Bam.
So, if Rick Ross and Big Meech had gone through with that concert, which was a BMF Welcome Back concert, 50 Cent would have had the right to collect every cent that they made from that event because of trademark infringement. Now, of course, Little Meech can run around town rocking his BMF chain. However, from now on and forevermore, as long as 50 Cent has that trademark, none of the Meeches can monetarily profit off of the name BMF when it comes to the entertainment industry unless they go through 50.
I can't believe I did that. I am so stupid. I don't know what I was thinking.
Now, I'm going to need you to bear with me and think back like 2 minutes to the dude, Dexter Sosa Hussey, who's a former BMF member who just told us the story about Mary J. Blige pushing the Pepsis out of Big Meech's Bentley. Similar to 50, while Big Meech was locked up, Dexter Sosa Hussey took it upon himself to trademark the whole name, the Black Mafia Family. So, Big Meech can't even use that without getting Dexter's permission. So I know, you're over there like, yo, Sauce, what does this mean for Big Meech? It means that they done tic-tac-toed this ninja, because Tammy has his life rights, 50 has the trademark on BMF, and Dexter Sosa Hussey has the full name. So, he can't use any of that.
Well, they mess around with each other, even though if they don't mess around with each other, Big Meech actually gonna be straight like he got people who gave him some, you know what I'm saying?
Even if he wanted to. So, as far as Big Meech is concerned, any association, control, or ownership that he once had over the name BMF is dead.
What's up, y'all? Let's talk about trademark infringement. So what is it? So trademark infringement occurs when a brand, by accident or intentional, uses the same or similar trademark of another brand on competing or related goods.
That's different right there. That is different right there.
Without the permission of the trademark owner. So I said a lot, so I want to break it down in 3 things I want you to remember. Number 1, accidental or intentional use, meaning whether you knew about the other brand's trademark or not doesn't matter, okay? You still can be held liable for trademark infringement. Number 2, the infringing trademark does not have to be identical to the other brand's trademark for infringement to exist. It just needs to be similar enough to cause confusion amongst the average consumer. So if the average person looks at this trademark and thinks that it would be similar to an already in use trademark, then you can be held liable for trademark infringement. Number 3, the goods and services that you're selling under the trademark do not have to be the same exact goods and services that the owner of the trademark is selling. They just have to be similar. Usually this means that they travel in the same market or they travel in the same trade channels.
Now, if Big Meech really tried to, he might be able to get away with doing the same thing that Vivica A. Fox did, who, by the way, dated both Big Meech and 50, which is to make a movie with a long behind title that incorporates the word BMF. Like Vivica's movie, The First Lady of BMF, the Tonisa Welch story. But I doubt that 50 would let him do it. And if you remember, 50 even gave Vivica a hard time because when she announced that she was making a movie, 50 jumped online and said, this should say 263, not BMF. At Southwest 263, what the cuff is this, man? Vivica, ugh. So you're not ever gonna leave me alone, hun? All right, so after that, Vivica's movie eventually got made and 50 didn't really press her too much after Judge Mathis came out and advocated on Vivica's behalf.
Steve, Judge Mathis here, as you see. You've been critical of us, our movie, First Lady of BMF. Man, you my guy. Let Tonisha eat. You know, First Lady of BMF. I know Lala's doing a hell of a job, but y'all haven't given any, y'all haven't fed Tony. First Lady of BMF, Terry's girl for many decades, Southwest T. I'm from Detroit, they're from Detroit. That's how I'm involved. These are Detroiters, man. We cut from the same cloth. I just got out of the street 10 years earlier than you. Respect you, man. I respect your word. Now let us get some money, man. Good luck on all your endeavors. You're doing a hell of a job.
But the reality is that if 50 Cent really wanted to, he could have really messed up Vivica's bag. But I really do think that 50 just enjoys cuffing with Vivica because eventually he gave her the ex-girlfriend exemption. Now I know, you're over there like Sauce. Can Big Meech possibly sue 50 Cent to get the trademark back? Nope, because a dude named Byron Bellin already tried to sue 50 over the trademark BMF, and the courts basically kicked him out of the court. They were like, get out of here with that. The trademark belongs to Curtis Jackson and Stars. And then he went back to court to appeal the case, and the appeals court was like, didn't we tell you to get out of here with that? Listen, the reality is this. 50 Cent has backed Big Meech so far in the corner that the only way that he can make money off of the word BMF is if he opens up a restaurant where he's selling bread, muffins, and fish. Or he opens up a store where he's selling bed frames, mattresses, and furniture. Because from now on, as far as entertainment is concerned, whether it be concerts, whether it be movies, or whether it be like series, BMF is a no-no. So no matter what Rick Ross jumps on the internet talking about, there's nothing he can do with the BMF brand. Which is why, if Big Meech really intends to make any money off of the BMF brand, he really needs to get on the phone and dial 263 and get on the phone with Terry. Because, like I said before, these two think differently. And unlike Big Meech, Terry was thinking 10 steps ahead, and he was thinking like a businessman. So Terry went ahead and trademarked his brand 263. Which means that if the brothers were working together, it would still be possible for Big Meech to make a little money off of the family story, but he would have to do it from Terry's point of view. Now, with that being said, whatever they decide to do, they better do it fast, because your boy 50 Cent is also out here working another BMF angle. On a podcast that 50 did in 2024, 50 basically said that similar to The Wire, he was thinking about doing something called BMF Immortal, in which he looks at the entire BMF story. But instead of looking at things from Big Meech's perspective, this time he wants to look at it from the perspective of the feds.
You've had a lot going on the last couple of years. So you've got your new shows, which is you have BMF, you have morality. Say I got three times.
BMF Immortal.
Immortal. I can't. I gotta say mortals. BMF Immortals.
Yeah, like the Power universe is what BMF Immortals is. Like the Power. First, the success of Power was great, and it came like I hit the bullseye first, and then you saw Fox come with Empire and Snowfall pop up and other projects that came. They were great projects. I like them too. But the being in premium allowed me to be as graphic as the environment is at times.
Yeah.
Or to say it the way people would say it in the environment, and that struck a chord in the audience. You know, like for the first time, they were seeing themselves in the characters and the flaws and different things, and it made people really get into it. And from Power, the spinoffs were Raising Kanan, Ghost, and Force.
Okay.
And those projects that made me have number 1, 2, and 3 of the highest rated shows in African American and Latino households. And then
it's huge.
I came with BMF that made the 4th. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4 highest rated shows in African American and Latino households. And
Congratulations, that's amazing.
Since the success of that, I've been able to talk to stars and get them to be excited about expanding the universe. But I'll do it different. The spinoffs, the way they've seen me do it through Power is a lot different from the new spinoffs that they'll see from BMF Immortal. And it's cool. Like sometimes we switch perspectives, so it's from a law enforcement perspective.
Oh, wow.
Instead of it being from the actual hustler side, of the aspirational side. Just
Let me find out that 50 Cent's gonna make another BMF spinoff with Officer Bryant flexing like this every episode.
Show me how to get my life together and started going to church. Good. Who's the pastor? Meech?
What? Hey, Dad, look at my comic book that I wrote.
That's good work, son.
Thank you.
Who taught you how to?
Yeah, so now we understand where the beef stands from. We didn't think that we knew where this beef stands from. So the beef stands for 50 Cent actually copyrighted everything that I was gonna fucking play regardless of fact, maybe or whatever the case may be, or maybe not but shit got hectic and 50 Cent went over there, he owned copyrights, damn, that shit hectic, so you gotta get righteous, more righteous than ever. But GG's, hyenas, that shit's nuts, yo. Big Meech, you gotta understand our business, you actually gave 50 Cent your copyrights, your life rights, that's shit. But Big Meech's gonna be alright, he's alright, he's gonna be alright, you gotta stay more righteous than ever, move forward, we don't know, 50 Cent, you gotta get righteous too, we gotta be more righteous than ever, life's what you make, you can't love it, can't hate it, it's gonna be simply what you make it, God chose you, he knew he could trust you, God's best kept secret, we need you to stay in our business, that's just what it is. When elevated, who's elevated? God's elevated. Doing our minimum much right here on YouTube. Building our pyramid, CG. You heard?